check that DM later. All right. Make sure there's food there. Sorry, just checking on my mobile game. It was down earlier today, so I didn't get a chance to check it this morning. I've been working on something all morning. That's why I was late today. It's because I'm like 3/4 of the way through the project I started this morning, and I've been working on for the last couple days. Even though I should be working on that video instead, but whatever. Start working on that once I get this done so it's not hanging over my head. Nearly done with P4 Arena? Yep. Probably going to get that done today. And then we can start on Ultimax next week, which will be nice. But yeah, no, I've been updating the backlog. So I kept, like, a list of games I'd like to play on a, like, you know, a Word document. And so I've been moving it over to a spreadsheet so I can see, like, you know, different things like how much time do I own the game, how much time it would take to beat the game, do I own the game already, you know, that kind of stuff. Try to keep it all in one location. I also put like an estimate at the bottom of like, okay, so if I play every day for 2 hours, how long would it take to get through all of these games? The current number for that is 23 years. I still have a little bit more to go through. I went through all my physical media, and I went also through all of the Steam games I own. And also, I still need to go through the Epic Game Store, anything I got for free over there. And then, yeah, I need to double check that my wish list on Steam is accurate. Maybe get rid of a couple of things on there. So, that's what I've been doing all day. I had to pull out all the physical media games I own. I got rid of some of those too. Dad? What are you sad about? But yeah, if I played every day for 2 hours, I would get through that current list of games in like 23 years. Now granted, I probably won't play all those games to completion. Probably play more than 2 hours a day overall, but yeah, you mentioned that it was going to happen, but didn't. Sorry, I'm just eating nuts. Let me finish up what I'm eating and I'll go ahead and get started. I haven't eaten anything since breakfast. I skipped lunch today, so I've been working on this because I figured I ate lunch after I got done with this. Lunch was 3 hours ago, so. You know, out of all the places to put extra lore, Nomura really said nah to the TV show, huh? The book pamphlets that they handed out at the concert? Sure. We'll put extra lore and conversations in there. A TV show? Nah. Okay. It is nice to have that perspective, though, with, like, the playlist. Being like, oh, you know, if I actually wanted to finish all these games, it would take me 23 years, you know? So, it makes me feel better about, like, dropping a game after a couple of hours, if it's not fun. For sure. Interesting. Yeah, I guess it'd be interesting to take a look at that at some point. Okay. I also found out how you can check how much you spent on Steam, by the way. Because Steam tracks that. If you go into your, like, profile and stuff, you can find that number. It's a number, for me, it's a number so high I don't want to say it, so. An embarrassingly high number. Yet another reason I have to keep going through the games I have. But anyway.
This program is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Go ahead and guess. Go ahead and guess.
Persona 4 Arena Ultimax.
Okay, I think we have to get through kanji first, though, before we, hire. Hire. Higher. Lower. Lower. You're close, though. $4,500. Over the last 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. It's $600 if you include the games I've gifted to people. Yeah. Yeah, I think... Hold on. Hold on. Do I still have the... No, I don't still have that. Where's that? Chrome capture a minute. No, not the source thing. I want to... Wrong thing. No, I'm not in debt. There it is. Yeah, so this is the spreadsheet I've been working on. I know. Scuffed. Give me a sec. But this is it here. Yeah, 721 entries on this. Even if I filter out all the stuff I don't own. No, I didn't even include that on here yet. This number isn't accurate here because it still says 721 because it's in like cheats where it auto updates the counter on the left hand side when you filter out stuff. So yeah, haven't even added, the Yakuza stuff on here yet. That's a good point. Well, I'll have to add it because I have to go through my wish list on Steam and update this with that as well. But yeah, you can see down here, estimated time total is like 16,797 hours, which if you played straight, would take you about 700 days of playing straight for 24 hours. Realistically speaking, if you spent like 2 hours a day, it's a little over 8,300 days. Actually, it's closer to 8,400, which is about 23 years. If you played all of these to completion for about 2 hours, played about 2 hours a day, take you 23 days. Or sorry, 23 years. Which is a little less than my entire lifetime as of currently speaking. So yeah. I gotta chop some things off here that I don't own already. See if there's... Do I really want to play that? You know? Again, I probably won't play these till like... completion, all of them, but yeah. There's a lot here. Alright. Back to the game. Gotta actually start making some progress here.
I was getting nervous because you were running wild, thinking this was all a beautiful dream.
Why don't you throw it in the Discord and I'll take a look when I get a chance, I guess.
Good thing I found you. I have missed you so much, you know?
Yeah, I didn't miss you.
Oh, what a big meanie you are.
His eyes are slightly different colored
Yeah,
than the others.
punch your stupid face in.
Oh dear. It looks like you still don't understand.
I wonder if it's because they just inverted the color tone of the eyes. And so for most people it ends up looking yellow. But for his, because his is more of a shade of blue, it ends up being a bit more orangish.
Understand what?
Why, you haven't changed one bit. That's why I've come out. Didn't you realize that after what everyone said to you, people haven't forgotten about my side of you at all?
Kanji, keep it together! You can't let him trick you! Shut up, you goddamn furball!
No different than me.
So you're the reason my senpai were acting so weird.
Oh, I don't know about that. They could have honestly been speaking their minds, you know.
No way in hell they...
That's what you want to believe. Once again, you're lying to yourself.
Half of that.
I don't want to lie to myself anymore. I want to be who I am.
Are you going to hit me? Are you going to deny me again? That's right.
People don't let go of their weaknesses. They can never really accept us. Have you lost your mind? How could you hit yourself?
Man, that hurt. But of course it would. It was my fist, after all. I know all too well that I'm weak.
Huh?
You heard me, I'm weak. But I met my senpai and they taught me something. Who cares what your weaknesses are? What's important is how you live with them. It'd be lame for me to repeat the same thing over and over, and I can't cause any more trouble for my senpai. You're really me. You should already know. Fists never lie.
But yeah, anyway, so the like list thing has been kind of hanging over my head. I've been making progress on it. Honestly, I've been doing that more than playing video games, which seems kind of counterproductive. But also, like, I was able to take, like, I don't know, like 10, 20 games off the list, which, you know, kind of evens out the time over the long run, I guess. I also went through and, like, pared down the list of the games for this year, since we've only got, like, what, a few more months left. So I was like, yeah, I'm not getting through all of these this year. So what's some things I can like put on the back burner, or like what things are kind of similar? So I was like looking at games that are kind of in the same categories, being like, let's just pick one of these I really want to play. Like, do I want to play Doom this year, or do I want to start on Half-Life? You know, like that kind of thing. Like both would be good to play, but like, which one do I really want to start this year or whatever, or try? So just stuff like that. Or like, I know I can't get through all of these JRPGs, so like, you know, I'm gonna take Chrono Trigger off or whatever. I'm still over I guess I didn't show that, even though I was thinking about doing that. Interesting that his voice lines are different for Shadow Kanji. I haven't noticed that with the other characters as much. Although the tone is just probably so much different than I noticed this time. It's probably true for the other Shadow characters as well. But yeah. Like, I knew I wasn't going to play Chrono Trigger probably this year. I left some things on. I probably still won't get to everything on there. But I left some things on there because I'll probably get through to like one or two of them of the JRPGs, because I'll probably put them on the poll for, you know, for like later this year after Refantasio, play one of the JRPGs on there or something.
Case closed! What happened last time? Turned into my persona and...
Did I not push him far enough? No, I didn't make any mistakes. The power he drew from his bonds was just stronger.
That's interesting.
Huh? There's something still missing to turn a persona back into a shadow.
That's interesting. Is that why his eyes are different? Because it's not... Sorry. It's not Labrys's shadow, necessarily. It seems to be the actual mastermind. He's messing with Kanji here. He thought he'd be a good target.
When did he disappear? There's a lot of fishy things about all
I said
this.
it would be animated. I still haven't watched The World Ends With You animated show. I heard it was okay. I think I saw like clips of it and stuff when it came out, but yeah. And I was all over that game back in the day.
Well, if he's gone, at least he can't cause any more problems. Looks like we did it.
Anyone, please answer me.
But yeah, I definitely am gonna curb my spending habits when it comes to both Steam and physical stuff. I think I'll still buy some things for like physical collection purposes. Like there's still some games that are like only on the Switch or whatever, right? That I'd like to get. Or you know, like there's a couple of games I'd like to pick up for the DS to just have, but yeah, there's a lot of things I just or like things that are still locked to the Xbox 360. Something I noticed while I was going through the Xbox 360 stuff, there was like several different games that were exclusive to like the PS3 and Xbox 360. Did get a PC port, but then like due to like Windows Live or whatever, was pulled off of Steam at one point. So
Kanji, that voice!
It's Rise. She's talking through her persona. Hey, can you hear me?
Final Fantasy 15 has a pretty good mod scene on PC at this point because they have like mod workshop integration on Steam. So I saw that was kind of interesting.
Kanji and Teddy.
Something happened, right? Where are you now?
I'm in the announcement room, and
Rise?
Oh, we haven't heard that in a
Rise!
while.
Answer me, damn it!
The announcement room! Miss President was headed there too! That place was dangerous after all!
Yeah, I guess because Kanji didn't make it to the announcement room in his route before the cliffhanger. It's also kind of interesting that like his is the only route where we see the like main antagonist a little bit before we get to the end. Or at least the main antagonist of Ultimax. I guess Labrador's Shadow is the main antagonist here, but like the person pulling the strings in the main antagonist of Ultimax shows up technically the earliest here. Because it seems like he's messing with Kanji and trying to poison his heart. Like he talks about wanting to do with the other characters. Maybe he figured he'd be the easiest target?
Kanji, wait for me! Don't leave me behind!
No time to waste. I'm going on ahead.
I mean, I guess Kanji is technically the easiest target, but he's also not an easy target. Because, like, if you try to psych out Kanji, he'd just be like, ah, screw it, this is dumb. I'm just gonna bash through it with my head and trust my instincts on this one. Yeah, I think KH4 will happen. For sure. I just think that it's, like, kind of in, like, the KH3 realm. Where, like, it's already... I think they mentioned... There was an interview where they talked about how, like, the art style for the game changed. And there's, like, been a lot of changes since that initial reveal trailer. So I think it's going through the KH3 thing. Where we're gonna see, like... the next time we see it, it's gonna look a lot different than the initial like concept, where KH3 like changed engines at one point, right? Like it started in one engine and then had to be completely rebuilt in another.
Here goes.
Well, not completely rebuilt, but like it had to be ported over to another engine at one point.
Kanji, you're late, you moron!
Quit whining. Hurry up and come over here. You're that student council president, right? You don't look so good. You okay?
It's not true. He keeps saying weird things. Another nuisance. I've had enough of this, you know that?
That fake Teddy is her shadow, and it's going berserk!
Her shadow? Not mine?
Where'd you get that idea? Sheesh. Listen, that fake Teddy's the bad guy here, so all you have to do is beat him up.
All right, that's easy enough to understand.
Huh. So you are going to interfere. I don't have anything against you, you know. Isn't that right, me?
Okay. Just a transformation into
I'm
Shadow Labrys.
Shadow, the true self.
Man, you look like you're ready for battle.
Why so scared? What's wrong, me? Take a good look. Come on, don't look away. You can't hide from yourself forever.
What's going on?
No! Don't look at me! I'm not like this!
The hell? A machine? No, a robot?
Come on, take a closer look. That's her true form. She was deceiving herself. She really thinks she's a human, living a normal life at school. To reinforce her make-believe as real, she prevented herself from accessing any memories that could contradict that. She even sealed away her own name. That's not true! I'm human! Are you? Hurry up and remember. You're a weapon, a mere tool. The 5th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon, Labrys. That's my name. Our name. That's not my name.
Stop! Don't say any more!
That's... You're not me! Yes, that's right! I'm not you! I'm... myself!
Looks like it's on me to protect everyone this time. Bring it!
Kanji, are you gonna be okay? You don't have any backup!
Damn.
Damn straight I'll be okay. Just stay quiet and support me like usual.
I'll save you no matter what.
Okay. But yeah, I think KH4 will happen eventually. I don't know how much interest there'll be in the KH series. I think it'll be one of those things where it's like, you know how like Five Nights at Freddy's hit its peak at one point, and it kind of like went downhill a little bit since then, but people are still generally interested in it with like the newer games. Because like, what was it? It was like Pizza Simulator, right? Where like the ending of that game is you burn down the pizza place that you're in. You release, you know, you release the souls of the major enemies of the game, and that's pretty much the ending. And then we have like Ultimate Custom Night where you get to fight against a bunch of different animatronics, and like people, you know, went crazy trying to do all of them and everything. And that was pretty much the end of what you would consider the original FNAF. Everything past that has been like either by like mostly by different people other than Scott Cawthon. Like he's still involved in the series, but he's like not the main person doing it anymore. And so it's transitioned into more of a franchise thing than like a guy making a bunch of indie games himself, you know? I mean, it was already a big franchise by the time that Pizza Sim game came out. I think that was like FNAF 6 or 5 or whatever. But anyway, point is, I think that like KH3 will, and that like period around that time will be recorded as the height of Kingdom Hearts stuff. Like how much people were into Kingdom Hearts. It'll be like the peak. And then I think it's going to dip down a little bit past that with like KH4. And it's going to kind of plateau. And like, it'll keep going for a while, I think. I think we'll get probably to KH like 6 or whatever. But I think it's not going to go past that. I think like KH6 will be like the final hurrah. And like, just thinking about like how long it's going to be until that game comes out. Like, if you assume that KH4 comes out in the next couple of years, right? And then you assume another 3 years each for KH5 and KH6, whatever form that takes. We're looking at, what, another 10 years or so Nomura's like how old now? He's in his 30s. Is he still gonna want to do more Cage? Like, is he gonna really want to do a Cage 7 or something? Probably not. Not when he's in his 40s. He's probably gonna want to do other stuff after working on that series for 20 years. Maybe there'll be some more spin-offs, some remasters, but like I think at that point, people are gonna be kind of done with it, one way or another. So that's what I think. I think Cage 4 will happen. I think people won't be as interested, you know, at this point, and like it'll kind of coast downhill for a little while. But I think people will still be interested enough in it for a while. Also, like, Disney stocks are also going to drop in the next 10 years because you just don't have as many people getting into Disney as you used to. Like, Disney is not as culturally relevant as they were when Kingdom Hearts started, and they haven't been putting out stuff to like keep themselves culturally relevant properly for a while. Like, whatever you think about like their political takes or whatever, they just have not been putting out like classics and like things that are universally watched and praised as good kids movies anymore, right? I think even like KH itself seems like it's probably going to go in a direction that's separate so much from from the Disney stuff. I don't know, that's just the vibe I got from the initial trailer, where you had like realistic buildings and stuff, and you had Noctis at the end of KH3 as like the super boss or whatever. It just feels like they're trending more towards the Final Fantasy or like their own kind of like canon, and less, and like a little bit farther away from like the Disney stuff. Also, just think about like how many more Disney worlds can they realistically do with like the properties that Disney has already released, you know? Yeah, I really don't see the franchise going beyond a KH6 at this point. Honestly, I feel like KH3 probably should have been the end, to be honest with you. It seems like Nomura still has more stories he wants to tell with the universe. But I feel like it was a mistake to, unless KH4 is like him wrapping up Sora's story. Like if KH3 was wrapping up Xehanort's story and KH4 is wrapping up Sora's like arc, I think that's fine. But like, I just don't think people are going to be interested in like KH5 and KH6 as much. Like they might still be great games, but like, I don't know. Like I think you start getting into territory where it's just like, where people are just going to get exhausted if they weren't already. And like trying to do a whole new arc after everything that happened with like KH1 all the way through KH3. Like it sounds like 3 games. Oh, whatever. But realistically, it was like what? KH1, Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts 2, the DS games. And then you had the 3DS game, you had Birth by Sleep, you had the mobile game, you had 0.2 technically, you know, and then you had KH3. So really you had like 10 games or so. Unless I'm forgetting something, which I might be. But I think it's like 10 games or so in between KH1 and KH3 that all had like lore implications. Some to lesser degrees, some to more degrees, but like they all mattered in like the story. So, yeah, I just feel like people say that like Kingdom Hearts lore is convoluted, and it is a little, because there are retcons and like the way they do time travel is pretty wonky and not well explained. But like I think the main problem with KH lore is just that like for so long it was so spread out. Now that we have the collections on PC and modern platforms, it's not as bad. But like before then, you know, like, you know, Chain of Memories originally was a mobile phone game, like a flip phone mobile game, and then or no, that was coded. Chain of Memories was originally a GBA game that later got a PS2 port, like remake kind of thing. So most people didn't play that, and then the DS games were on, like, if you were a Sony person and you were playing, PlayStation and stuff, like, why would you own a Game Boy? I mean, that eventually got a PS2 port, right, with Chain of Memories. So you're going along with PlayStation, you get to PlayStation 3 and Vita and stuff, and you have Birth by Sleep, but you don't have the DS games, which is fine, because, like, 358 over 2 days has an interesting story, but, like, it just gives you more context about Roxas and the organization. The only really important thing there is Shion is a thing, but she doesn't become relevant again until Cage 3 because everybody canonically forgets her. And then there's also the DS game, which just retells Cage 1 story and, like, hints at, like, what the future holds, and, like, gives you and, like, tells you what was in the letter at the end of Cage 2. The letter in the bottle that King Mickey wrote. And kind of, like, leads into the 3DS game, but it doesn't really matter that much. So, but then again, like, the next, like, release is on a 3DS. So, like, you're flip-flopping between, like, DS and, like, Sony stuff and, like, handhelds, and then there's the mobile phone game, and you kind of have to know some of the plot of all of these games to understand what's happening in Cage 3, which then comes out on Xbox and PlayStation, but not PC. I don't think it came out on PC. At least not day one. So, yeah, I don't know. I think the major problem with KH's lore is just that it was so scattered for so long. Sorry, I'm getting, like, sidetracked from the game, but yeah.
No! This can't be my body!
You don't have to worry about that. Though it's easy to say so, huh? Anyway, let's calm down for a second, okay? Psst, Kanji, say something.
Me? Nice weather we're having.
What are you being so stiff for?
Shut up! She's a student council president. I gotta, just thought I should try to be more polite, damn it. Anyway, why don't you try talking to us? We'll listen to whatever you're saying.
That's right. Our shadows emerged when we came here for the first time. We went through the same pain as you. I think that should let us understand you.
Hey, it's a good thing Risei's here, because otherwise Kanji would be, like, this is super bad at comforting Labris. He would definitely try, but yeah, he's very awkward around girls. He just doesn't know how to talk to them very well.
Talk?
Yeah. Also, it's kind of nice to see a little bit more of Risei. She's been here throughout the stories, but she doesn't have her own dedicated story. She's, like, the only character that doesn't in this game. I know she becomes a playable character in Ultimax, so. At least I think she does, so. I'm sure we'll see a little bit more of her there, but she's kind of been on the sidelines for all of these stories. Like, always kind of there, but only there, like, standing in the corner. So it's nice to see her actually talk a little bit more. And, like, get a little bit more screen time.
I want to stay human, but she won't let me. I want to forget the whole Labris thing. I don't want to think about that anymore.
I see. You really were doing your best, weren't you?
Huh?
I'll be honest, I just met you. There's no way I could know how painful this must have been for you. You really thought it through, huh?
You say that you're a machine, but we know what you're talking about. I don't think there's any problem there. You're the same as us. You can feel pain and sadness just like us.
The same.
That's why you should go and accept the other you over there.
Hey, isn't that girl there a part of you too? You gotta pay attention to her. If you don't, you'll always be in pain. I can tell you that from experience. Gotta get your courage up, because, you're not alone anymore.
That's funny. He's trying to, like, do the same thing that you did for him in the original P4. Yeah. What would you, Senpai, do in this situation? I try to think back, and then I remember. and then we have the shadow acceptance scene. I'll probably let this stuff play out if it plays during the U storyline, because that's probably the last time we'll see that stuff. But yeah, we'll skip it for now until we get to that. I'll have to get some more water before then. I'll probably have to read a lot of that out, because it'll probably be a bit different and technically the canonical end, so we'll want to pay a bit of attention. Also be interesting to see how they characterize you a little bit.
That's my real name. Kanji-kun? Rise-san? Thanks.
Like with his internal monologue and stuff.
Seems like I was forgetting things that I shouldn't have been. But now, I feel so light I could float away. It's like how scared I was before was just a bad dream.
Oh, we have a lot of reading with Liz, too. Okay.
No need to thank
Yeah,
me.
I'll go get some
The
water
really
after
hard part was all
Kanji's
you.
thing is done. I'm just out right now, because I didn't think to grab some before stream.
Anyway, good thing no one was hurt.
Yeah,
Or
I
get a
can
refill
finally
anyway.
call you by your name. Labrys is such a cute name.
Come on, don't say that. It's not really true.
Looks like Senpai and the others are all together. The invisible walls must be gone.
All right, I think we're done here for sure. So we should hurry and catch up with him. Come on, let's go, Labrys.
Coming!
All right. Seems like we still got a ways to go with Kanji, though.
Senpai, long time no see. I
Like-
totally did it this time.
We didn't have the fight against Labrys, which usually means we have an extra fight here.
Yeah, Rise told me.
And we didn't
You
have
did
a
an
fight
excellent
against
job.
the P3 crew.
It was really amazing. Kanji's speech to Labrys was what saved her in the end.
Wow. If even Rise-chan's impressed, you must have really done a great job.
Nah. This is mostly stuff I learned from you guys.
Ah, that explains it. I knew it sounded too cool for you to come up with.
Come on, why'd you have to say that? I've been thinking I should get like a PS4 or a PS5 controller for playing like PlayStation games, even if I don't have like a PS4 or PS5 yet. Although going through my list, I noticed there were a couple of games on there that are still locked to PS4 and stuff. Like, oh shoot, what was it? There's obviously Bloodborne, Gravity Rush, like the port to PS4, and then there was like one other game. Oh right, Uncharted. Yeah, like Uncharted 4 or whatever. That and like Infamous. So there were a few games there that are like,
Hey, everyone.
it'd be good to have a PS4.
Well, I wanted to tell you something.
Be able to play those. I don't know. Maybe I'll just get like a PS4 since those are all on PS4. And that'll be cheaper than buying like a whole new PS5 or something. You know? I'm not sure how much PS4s go for. Probably like 200 bucks or so, if I had to guess.
What's the matter?
It's not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I don't know. Then again, like, I have all these other games I gotta play through, so maybe I should just focus on that. Still, it'd be nice to have, like, a PlayStation controller, I think, just to get comfortable with it and to play games like, PS1 or PS2 games with it.
Really sorry my shadow put
Through
you through a
emulator
big
or
hassle
whatever.
again.
Like, I noticed that, with the Yakuza game, it definitely feels like the dancing minigame, the karaoke minigame, was definitely designed with the PS4 or PS5 controller in mind. Because the D-pad on that is a lot better than the Xbox controller. Like, that's always been, like, one major nitpick of, like, the Xbox controller ever since the Xbox 360. Is that the D-pad on it isn't great if you're playing it with as your main input. If you play with it as like just another set of hotkeys, basically, to like change weapons or pull up abilities or do other things like that, it works just fine. But if you're trying to use it as your main like method of input, it's not super great. So the PlayStation controllers have been a little bit better for that. At least PS4 and PS5 look like they would be. It's been a minute since I played on a PS3 controller,
Wait, you
so I
still
can't
haven't
remember
figured it
if
out?
the D-pad on that is good.
Figured out what?
Who did you defeat just now?
To think that we were rescued by someone who had so little understanding of the situation.
Who are you? Man, it's Golden Week already. Ain't you hot wearing fur like that?
Will you shut up for a second? We already understand what an idiot you are.
While you were gone, these people explained some things to us.
Okay. Recapping what's going on.
Oh, so you do have someone who is waiting for you. That's cool.
Seriously, it seems like a dream. I can't believe everyone's being so nice to me, and I don't have to be locked up. Kanji-kun, I can't thank you enough.
Okay.
It's not over yet.
What the? Did we forget something?
Is this the same communication system we use? Everyone, step away from Labris!
Whoa! I cannot gain access.
Okay, so this is the same as the other P4 characters.
Well, you appear to be the perfect opponent for her. Let's have you fight friend against friend once more.
Hey, snap out of it! You're just gonna let yourself get controlled like that? Show some backbone!
It's no use. She can't hear us.
The hell is this shit? Damn it! Quit forcing Labris to fight! Just hang in there. I'll help you come to your senses.
Speaking of controllers, I saw that they remade the original Xbox controller. There was a third party who got the sign off from Microsoft, and they made like a replica of the original like Xbox controller. Not the large one, the Duke. They already made one of those, but the smaller S controller or whatever. They made one of those that works like with modern Xbox consoles and stuff, and obviously PC and all that. Looks pretty fun. Might get it. I've got their Xbox 360 and Duke controllers as well. Actually, the Xbox 360 one is what I'm playing on right now. It's a bit more cleaner. I don't know. A bit more responsive than the wired Xbox 360 controller I was using before. For obvious reasons, probably. Although I do think I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna have to open it up and clean it up a little bit, because I've been using it for a couple of years now. Starting to get a little dirty. Also interested to see how much different it is on the inside compared to the original Xbox 360 controller.
Well, she is a test unit, so this is as far as my little game goes.
Well, I can also say that's accurate in where the like dirt and like grime starts to build up on an Xbox 360 controller is the same as with this controller, with like the seams and stuff being in the same spot. So
Show yourself, you freaking coward! Who the hell are you, anyways?
the only real complaint I have with it is that it's not wireless.
Although this didn't work out, you did stay.
I don't mind it being wired. The wire is the cord that they provide is like plenty long. It's USB-C. So, you know, it's like plenty long and it's pretty fine. It's just that like it'd be nice if it was wireless, even if it had some extra heft to it.
Labris's shadow was only the mastermind of the tournament. I see now. You're the
Speaking of, okay, same stuff as usual. Speaking of like PS3 and Xbox 360 controllers, the Xbox 360 controllers have like died a lot less.
But she is a tool, just a machine. What
Since the Xbox 360 controller just used AAAs, and that were like detached from the main housing, right? Like had a battery pack on the back, whereas the PS3 controller had like a built-in battery pack that you could recharge, which is more convenient, kind of, but also had a higher chance of like like you would have, it's harder to replace those now, and also if that like spills, like if a battery spills in that, like it sits too long in there, then that's the end of that controller. Whereas if it's with an Xbox 360 controller, there's still a chance that you can salvage it. But anyway.
It's no use. Nothing's getting through. What kind of sick bastard is this?
Well then, everyone.
Okay.
Damn it! I was with that asshole.
It seems whoever our adversary is, they're connected to us.
I wonder if we end up finding Akihiko there here just
You
to
shouldn't
like
get
do the
involved any further in
true
this
man
case.
thing or whatever.
We'll handle things from
I
here.
could see that.
Hey, wait a second. Are you telling us to back off from this?
I understand how you feel, but we will do our best to ensure that no harm comes to you. Please trust us and allow us to handle this. You must hurry home.
Guys, let's leave this to them.
Huh?
Are you...
Oh, well, Senpai calls the shots. Just do like they ask and go home.
Kanji-kun?
No use getting pissed at them. They're not the bad guys here.
What an unexpectedly mature thing to say! Are you an imposter?
Shut up. Don't make me muss your fur again.
Okay.
Ow! Damn it, my entire body hurts.
Even after a good night's rest, my muscles are still aching like hell. I had to think about it. I was there for more than a whole night this time. Damn. Guess I should get in better shape. Even with all the pain, I can't stay in bed. Forced myself to get up and jog to where we agreed to meet. Where was it again? Wait, never mind. I got
It's
it.
gotta be them.
That ridiculously long, shiny black limo? It's fine for Mitsuru-san's people, but sticks out pretty bad in our little town. That's gotta be it. It's so obvious. I'd be pretty damn surprised if it belonged to anyone in Inaba. When I get there, my senpai are already standing around. Labris is there too, and she looks at me. She smiles when she sees I'm here.
Thanks for coming. I wanted to give everyone a proper goodbye.
You really are leaving. You could just attend the real Yasogami High, you know?
That sounds great, but I can't. There's something I want to take care of now. I want to help Mitsuru-san and the others find whoever did this and catch him. No matter what, I gotta make things square.
That sure sounds like something Kanji-kun would say. Are you sure he didn't rub off on you?
Chie senpai is joking around, but it seems like Labris really does want to make things square. Huh. Am I really rubbing off on her? Nah, it just shows that Labris is someone who sees things through. I mean, even when she thought she was a student council president, she had balls, telling me off as soon as we met. Looking at her, smiling, look at her, smiling cheerfully. Now that's what I like to see.
Labris, it's almost time.
All right. Well then, goodbye, everyone.
Aw, come on. Just when she was starting to crack. Looks like we're back at square one again. As soon as Mitsuru-san said that, her face clouded over and the moment was ruined. Even Rise finally stopped complaining. Seems like she's ready to cry. Sheesh. Guess I should step in one last time. I call out to Labris as she's reaching for the limousine door.
That ain't how you do things.
Huh?
I mean, think about how sappy she was being earlier. Give a proper goodbye? Hell with that. Rambling on ain't my thing, and I don't know what I gotta say is gonna get through to her. So I just put on a big smile. Say it as loud and simple as I can.
You're supposed to say, see ya! Not some formal crap.
Labris looks at me with wide eyes. Wait, damn it. Why is she tearing up even more? I start to panic and Labris laughs. Even through her tears.
See ya.
See? Even I can do it right sometimes. Aw. The limousine carrying Labris slowly speeds up. And Labris leaves with a big old smile. After we saw Labris off, Yosuke senpai, okay. Same, like, we're gonna go after them. We're not just
Kanji,
letting it
Can
leave.
you come out for a moment?
Coming, Mom!
I put the crochet hook down and go see my mom. I'm just finishing up Yu Senpai's present. I got some time to help out. But once I get done with this, I should make another one. Me and Labrys kinda inspired me. How about, instead of making a stuffed animal, I make a stuffed robot?
I need you to tend to the store while I go do some shopping. I'm expecting a package, so make sure you sign for it when it comes.
Yeah, fine. I'll take care of it.
I head out to the store. On the way, I happened to glance at one of the merchandise shelves. It's the stuffed animals I needed. I asked my mom to put them up in the shop a while ago. They seem pretty popular. I should have a few new ones soon. Yes, that means I'll have to hurry up with that stuffed robot.
What are you staring at them for? Don't worry, they're all as adorable as ever.
I wasn't staring. Sheesh. Stop making things up.
Honestly, even though I asked her to do this, still uneasy about seeing the hobby I hid for so long put on display in the shop like this. It wasn't so long ago that I was still hiding. But people's reactions to it haven't been that bad. Sometimes they even sell out. No matter how much people liked them, I guess I was still kind of ashamed of my hobby. That's what I realized during this case. I talked big to Labrys, but I gotta change too. I want to get to where I won't freak out even if my shadow comes out or people talk to me. And even that much is gonna be a lifelong fight. So I'm taking it one step at a time. I want to be able to send these guys off with pride.
Well, I'll be going then. Try not to glare at the customers, okay?
I won't. Hurry up and leave.
I see my mom off and then put on the Tatsumi Textiles apron. I'm all fired up.
All right. Let's do this.
Case ain't over yet. I know. But I gotta do what I can. And I'll start by rearranging the mascots on the shelf to make them look as cute as possible. That's good. That's a good ending. I was expecting an extra fight there. Because, like, he still thought it was a dream or something, but no. No, that was good. Oh, you know why it was, short? Is because he has a joke ending that we didn't do. That's why. That's why it felt short overall. Yeah, okay. Alright, let me go get some water real quick, and I'll be right back. Because we gotta do a lot of reading with you and Elizabeth, apparently. And then we'll go ahead and get through both of them. I'm back. Okay. Okay.
You're lying. This isn't real. I'm not a machine. You're not me.
She denied the truth as the Shadow's creation. With this, the Shadow's face twisted into an evil rapture.
Finally! You finally said it! Now, I can be myself!
Yeah, we'll let all these cutscenes play out, because it's probably the last time we'll see him.
The power!
I'd hoped I could save her before it got to this point. But that might have been impossible anyway. It's difficult enough to confront the truth. In her case, it was accompanied by revealing the true form she'd been so desperate to hide. She's a machine, and was forced to perform painful acts that most likely no one could ever comprehend. truth, what she was avoiding wasn't just part of her personality, but her actual body itself. Can't imagine the shock she's experiencing. Now that the reality she built for herself has crumbled, I want to help her. She may be a machine, but she has a heart. Labrys has denied her past in which she was forced to fight and kill her friends, and her pain comes out in a long, echoing scream. What has to be done to a heart to cause such terrible screams? There's only one thing we can do. To accept who you truly are. I think that's the right response. I don't think there was a wrong response there, to be honest.
Final. Fight.
That's new. And by new, I mean I never got hit by that attack before. Despite all the times fighting Shadow Labrys.
Not enough.
Okay. Managed to charge up a skill that time. I gotta remember I can do that. There's a lot of opportunities to do so when knocking up the AI or whatever. Into the air, I mean. The power that Labrys' shadow had gathered dissipates. It's over. All that's left is for Labrys to accept the darkness within her. Will she be able to truly do it? I turn around, but Labrys hasn't moved a muscle. She had been avoiding having to watch the battle just now as well. What more can I do for her?
Labrys.
The moment I call to her.
There they are! Yukon! Labrys!
Sister, Narukami-san.
She and Aiga-san. And not just them. Yukiko and Yosuke are right behind them. There's even more surprises.
Man, as soon as that invisible wall thing disappeared, I knew you did it!
We ran into Aiga-san along the way. She told us about Labrys and everything.
A little late, wasn't it? If someone told me what was going on from the start, I would have...
You fell into the TV when you were half asleep. For crying out loud, you really know how to blow it when it counts.
Hey, what'd you go and tell them for?
I don't think this is the time for that.
Huh? Naoto?
Yeah, we were surprised too. The job she was on turned out to be related to all this.
Kanji, who had been missing before we went inside the TV, and the real Teddy are here. There's even Naoto, who wasn't even supposed to have been able to come to Unipa. Looks like the whole investigation team's been brought back together. I didn't even know. Everyone says that Rise had told them pretty much what had been going on. Their smiles are encouraging. I turned to speak to Labrys, who's been silent all this time.
These are my friends. We've all faced our weaknesses at one time or another.
Labrys finally responds.
Your weaknesses. You've all faced your shadows?
Well, except for me, but yes. Everyone gathers around Labrys. Labrys tries to shrink away nervously, but Rise is right behind her and won't let her retreat. I think, actually, Yu does face his shadow in the anime, like the original P4 anime. I think at one point. Like, in the... Because that's also, like, when he fights Margaret a little bit. Like, Margaret, like, slaps him around a bit and gets him to snap out of it. But you can see, like, his inner thoughts or his, like, shadow on the TV, like, saying things or whatever at that point. And it kind of, like, causes him to lose heart for a little bit. So Margaret has to, like, get him to snap out of it.
Sheesh, enough doom and gloom. If you don't hurry and accept her, she'll get all lonely.
It'll be interesting to see him in Arena as well.
But I'm a weapon who didn't want to fight.
As well as the
And I
P3
dragged you
characters
all
like
into this.
Shadows.
You're still hung up on that? It's over already, dummy.
Your jumping skills were amazing, But you're surprisingly sensitive, aren't
What?
you?
What does that have to do with anything?
What does that have to do
Yeah.
with her jumping skills?
What does that have to do with anything, Chie?
You're really cute, Labby-chan. You're so meta-luring.
Oh, jeez. Okay, Teddy.
Are you all listening to me? Labrys needs to face her shadow now, and
Things were going well at first, but now everyone's talking about completely different things, and we're completely off topic. Of course, that's not unusual with all of us. I have to laugh. I apologize to Labrys that things didn't quite wrap up as I'd hoped. Labrys looks back at me with a blank expression. Can't she tell we're not treating her any differently? I turn towards Aiga-san, and she meets my gaze. She nods silently, then stands before Labrys. She seems slightly nervous.
Nice to meet you, Labrys. Or rather, sister. I am Aegis, the 7th generation anti-shadow suppression weapon. I am your successor.
Labrys streaks up and looks at Aiga-san. At the same instant, Yukiko gasps in surprise.
What? Excuse me, but I mean, are you also...
Yes. I too am a robot.
You didn't notice that until now, Yukiko?
It just occurred to you now?
Yeah. Weren't you with her all this time, Yukiko? How did you not notice something like that? That's so like you. Once again, everyone looks towards Aiga-san and Labrys, the non-human sisters. I see them standing together. There is something like a family resemblance. Maybe I've been wrong this whole time. Is Labrys Aiga-chan's older sister? Should be calling her Labrys-san? Well, I guess that doesn't matter.
My mission to retrieve you has brought me here. My colleagues are waiting for you.
Are they gonna lock me up again? Well, considering all I did, of course they will.
Labrys' expression darkens. I hadn't thought about it. But if Labrys and Aiga-san are treating us as treat as weapons, it's no surprise there would be better to keep them in check. But Labrys shouldn't have to just accept it. She truly is going to be locked up. I make up my mind and wait for what Aiga-san has to say next, but she smiles.
We can discuss that later. Right now, there is an important task you must carry out.
And then everybody laughed. How's it going, Moon?
I gotta do this, huh?
Aiga-san quietly points at the shadow that has remained still while we've been talking. Labrys looks at the shadow and then turns away and casts her gaze down at the ground again. I see. No, I'm going to have to act.
It's okay. We're all right here with you.
I indicate my friends that have gathered around her. I've been forced to fight against my friends, just as Labrys had in the past. If I had been able to endure the suffering that Labrys had not, of course, I hadn't been forced to fight them to the death. But the biggest difference between Labrys and me is that I wasn't alone. What if I had been all alone in this place? What if everyone else had forgotten about me and I had to fight all alone? The thought of that hurt. Labrys had been forced to endure that pain. He must have thought that there was no escaping it. But she'll be alright now. We're not going to reject her. It doesn't matter if she's a machine. She's not alone anymore.
Yeah.
Labrys slowly looks around at all the faces, searching each one for confirmation. Finally, she turns back to me and nods. Labrys then walks over to face her shadow. When she walks, she no longer seems to be bound by her fear. Do you think Kiryu could beat up shadows? Yeah, but he couldn't kill them, because that's just how shadows work. You need special weapons or a persona to be able to kill them properly. I don't know, he could probably beat them off, but, like, you can't kill them. It's kind of like the Kingdom Hearts thing, where you can, like, destroy a shadow's physical form, but you can't kill it entirely. Yeah, so? He's got his heat. Maybe. Maybe if that counts as magic? Because I think magic technically can also destroy the physical form of a Heartless. Like, I'm saying he could beat up, like... I'm saying he could beat them up, but, like... I don't think he could, like, fully destroy them, because they have, like, specific requirements to be eternally destroyed. I mean, if we're talking about Kingdom Hearts... like, Beast can destroy shadows, but, like, they'll just come back again unless Sora gets rid of them with a Keyblade, so... She looks at the mechanical body that she had convinced herself she didn't have.
That's right. You're me.
Labrys and her shadow turn to face one another and stare into each other's eyes. She can't avoid looking at the shadow now.
You're the way I was on the inside, screaming to be understood. The pain wanting to be known. You're all I couldn't say. You were always inside me. You're me. A machine with a heart. I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone. No. You are me, after all.
I just had a thought, Jeppo. What if in Kingdom Hearts 3, like, you just see, or like, in Kingdom Hearts 1 or whatever,
It's my persona.
Riku just accepts his, like, dark self, and, like, gets a persona. I mean, that's kind of what happens in Chain of Memories. He kind of, like, accepts the darkness within him and uses it to grow stronger. That's basically kind of what happens in Chain of Memories. Isn't it a shame that so few people actually got to play Chain of Memories before Kingdom Hearts 2, and, like, even later on? Because it is basically, like, the second half of it is, like, Riku's redemption arc of him, like, going from being, like, a little shit in KH1 to being, like, man, I was really a little shit, huh? And then becoming, like, a total, like one of the best characters in the series, after that. Okay. When we reached the rooftop, we were surprised to see the TV world has regained the studio-like appearance that we were accustomed to. However, there are two unfamiliar faces waiting for us.
Mitsuru-san, Akihiko-san.
These people have overwhelmingly intense presences, but thankfully, they don't seem to be enemies. The moment we see them, we tense up. But after Aiga-san calls out in recognition, we learn that they are her friends.
I'm Mitsuru Kirijo, Labrys' handler.
Bodysuit like that, a bodysuit like something out of a movie with a fur coat on top. It's a look that doesn't really work, but her name immediately reminds me of something. The Kirijo group. And if she has the same name, she must be quite an influential person in it. The research organization that developed Labrys and Aiga-san must belong to her.
I'm Akihiko Sanada. Sorry for all this trouble.
The man with the red cape appears to be quite comfortable with Mitsuru-san and Aiga-san. He must have been helping them fight shadows for some time. Is there reasons why people on shadow extermination squads have to be dressed like crazy people?
So, what's going to happen to Labrys now?
Thinking about the designs of the other characters? No. I mean, Fuka just looks like she's just in her casual clothes. I think Yukari also wears one of those bodysuits too, but she doesn't, like, put fur over it. Ken's just kind of in a uniform that looks normal. Because I think he's in high school, right? At this point. So he's, like, in his high school uniform, I think. And then... I'm trying to think of the other characters. Oh, yeah. Junpei. He shows up, I guess, in his baseball outfit. But that's not too crazy. Yeah, it's just these three that stand out the most. Before we fully introduced each other, Yosuke asked Mitsuru-san what I've been wondering myself. I know all of us must have been worried about this, but I was waiting for a moment to bring that up. Even Yosuke seems to have realized how out of line his question is. He shrinks back sheepishly, as if regretting having asked the question. I know Yosuke is worried, but why does he keep stepping on landmines like this? Well, if he's already stepped on it, we might as well wait for the smoke to clear and see if there's any answer.
Well, you deserve to know. We were thinking of sealing her away again.
They were thinking? Something changed their minds? Mitsuru-san turns to Labris. There's a smile on her face. Is she smiling for the reason we hope she is?
But our report from Aegis says that thanks to you, Labris has acquired a persona. She's hardly a rogue test unit anymore. Besides, she has a heart. We would never treat anyone with a heart so poorly.
Yeah, we did it!
Thank goodness! I'm so happy for you, Labris!
My friends roar in excitement. Labris looks around at us all, bewildered before saying anything. Even though we've only known her for a very short time, we're already coming to accept her as our friend. Mitsuru-san's words come as a great relief, as if I'd been worried that she might lock me up too.
Good job, guys. Let me say thanks.
He speaks without any hint of concern, but I see a touch of gratitude in Akihiko-san's eyes. He certainly looks, how can I put it, bold, but he must be an honest and upright person. I guess I could call him stoic. There's a distinct brusqueness to him. There's no way that people so considerate would neglect the goodness of Labris' heart. It seems that Labris can't believe everything she's hearing. She turns from Akihiko-san back to Mitsuru-san.
You're not gonna lock me up again? No fooling?
We only seal away objects. If I did that to you, knowing you have a heart, I'd be no different from the Kirijo Corporation of old. Labris, you've been blessed with good friends.
Labris looks stunned for a moment, and scrunches up her face as if about to cry. Then her face lights up with a brilliant smile. Who would think that anyone capable of making the expressions was just a machine? I find myself almost moved to tears as well. We're just about to leap forward to congratulate Labris once again when Labris' head droops suddenly, like a puppet whose strings have been severed. I'm about to rush over to see what the matter is when I see Akihiko-san take a fighting stance. I realize this is no ordinary matter. Suddenly a bizarre voice emanates from Labris.
It's not over yet.
That isn't Labris' voice. This abnormality seems to have made Mitsuru-san come to a realization.
What? It's the same communication system as ours.
Everyone, step away from Labris!
Mitsuru-san and Akihiko-san rapidly shout instructions to us. We all spread out and watch Labris from a distance.
I cannot gain access. She is being hacked. It isn't coming from inside this facility. The signal originates elsewhere.
You mean outside the TV?
Outside the TV? That's right! I curse myself for having forgotten that what was supposed to have been the cause of all this. All this was going on because Labris had somehow been placed into a TV. There has to be someone outside who threw her in here. The same person who stole Labris from the Kirito group and threw her into a TV is now taking direct control over her.
This is just a little extra resistance. Now, entertain me.
The nonchalant voice fills with malice. With a dazed look in her eyes, Labris looks up and dashes forward. It's fast. I barely dodge her axe in time. Surprised, I look up at Labris once more. Her eyes are blank, as if she wasn't looking at anything. Those eyes were once filled with strength of responsibility and awareness of duty. Her face had once been filled with sorrow over her painful past. And she had smiled when she found real friendship for the first time in her life. Whoever's controlling her has stolen all these things from Labris. Then... Interesting that you have more choices here. I think it's just a nod to the fact that this is the MC, right? That's you. We'll save her, no matter what it takes.
We'll save her no matter what you try.
Oh, there's an actual, like, difference in the dialogue? Like, it actually matters? I didn't think it mattered on the first one. I feel like it's just a nod to the fact that it's a... Yu Murakami, right? Like the MC. So he gets to make a bunch of decisions or whatever. For dialogue. Alright.
Finally. Fight!
Yeah, the AI really likes to run right into that, huh? Agreed, he's trying to charge up his skill. Okay. Looks like I can charge up even during the combo ender there with IU, which is pretty good.
My, she was quite easily defeated. Evidently, I didn't push her far enough. Well, she is a test unit, so this is as far as my little game goes.
Labrys has stopped moving. The only sound is the smug voice that continues to come from her. Those heartless words cause anger to boil up within me.
Who are you? Why are you toying with people's emotions like this? Labrys isn't a tool. If you want to fight, then come out and fight!
You're quite passionate. You, Narukami, was it?
This person, whoever he is, knows about me? Then maybe it isn't a coincidence that we were dragged into this. This revelation shakes all of us.
Labrys's shadow was only the mastermind of the tournament. I see now. You're the true culprit behind the whole thing.
Indeed. It was I who stole Labrys away. Since I don't have a persona and can't enter a TV, I needed a puppet that could run amok for me. Labrys's persona was only partially awakened, so I had a feeling her shadow would appear if she underwent a little suffering. You got the better of me this time. You deserve to know at least that much.
Enough is enough. I've never been so irritated, knowing that I can't do anything to whoever is controlling Labrys.
This time, so your scheme hasn't ended.
Well then, everyone, until we meet again.
Next week, next Tuesday, when we start the Ultimax story. The communication cuts off abruptly without answering me. Labrys immediately slumps to her knees. Before I can even begin to move, Aika-san is already at Labrys' side to support her. Aika-san looks at me and nods, confirming Labrys is alright. Thank goodness. Labrys is okay. I feel a bit of strength drained from me. Still, the sword in my hands feels awfully heavy. Mitsuru-san speaks up from behind me, even as I consider this.
It seems whoever our adversary is, they're connected to us. I advise you not to get involved in this matter any further. From here on, you should leave this to us.
What? Wait a second. We went through this whole big thing and that's it?
She's right. There's no way in hell we're backing out of this now.
I understand how you feel, but this is too dangerous for you. We will do our best to ensure that no harm comes to you. Trust in us and let us work.
My friends bristle at Mitsuru-san's proposal. After all, we've come this far, and we already know about the dangers. There's so much I want to say. I can understand why they'd want us to stay away.
Guys, I think we can trust Mitsuru-san. We should let them handle this.
My friends respond with looks of shock. Of course they don't agree. And now's not the time to complicate matters. One of them should understand why I'm backing down so easily. I stare directly into Yosuke's eyes for a moment, hoping that he understands my intentions here. Come on, Yosuke, back me up.
Yeah. We're all tired, so let's just get the heck out of here.
Oh, smooth, Yosuke. Oh well. I sneak a glance towards Mitsuru-san and the others to see if they've picked up on this, but none of them appear to have noticed. Maybe they're just pretending not to notice. Well, in any case, it means we've been let go for now. I sigh with relief before urging everyone into the exit TV. When I return to the real world, exhaustion from the events of the day catch up to me. I'm more tired than I expected. And again, I had been fighting all this time. Can't be helped. Everyone else seems tired too, so we decide to go our separate ways for the day. Still, everyone is safe, Labrys included. It'll be a while before this case is completely closed, but I think we can assume the disturbance has been settled for now. I worry that the mastermind has taken control of Labrys, but I need a rest for now. When you get back home, Nanako greets me with a big smile. The moment I see that, all the exhaustion of the day hits me, along with a profound sense of relief. keep myself from staggering. Nanako and my uncle were worried a bit by that, but that doesn't bother me at all. There was something I wanted to do in my room. I hadn't even been there for an hour when my awareness melts into the darkness. I wake up to my phone ringing. According to the call, we're supposed to meet up at the outskirts of the shopping district, at the crossroads in front of the gas station. When I arrived, the other members of the investigation team had already shown up. Surprisingly, the one who called us was Labris. She wanted us to come so that she could say her farewells to us.
Ooh, is that it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Oh man, it's so long. What the heck kind of car is that? How does it even turn corners?
A long limousine drives up to us with surprising speed. It's so long that I can't believe it was able to handle the country roads of Inaba. I don't think I'll ever see another automobile like this in my life. The limo slows down to a stop and smoothly parks beside us. Mitsuru-san climbs out of the back seat and nods to us. Labris and Akihiko-san are in the back seat as well.
You're looking good, Labris.
Sorry I made you come here all of a sudden, but there was something I really wanted to tell you guys.
When I look at her, Labris smiles and looks embarrassed. She takes a moment to look around at all of us, then continues.
I decided to work with Mitsuru-san. I want to catch the darn culprit. Not only that, but, you know how you guys had my back during this whole mess? Yeah. This time, I want to get yours.
You go and do that.
I can't help but smile at the conviction and trust in her words. Labris has faced her weakness and has accepted it, and she's about to begin walking towards the goal she found on her own. That's why I don't see any reason to stop her. I'll be sad to see her go, but this decision is one Labris made for herself.
This definitely ain't the last you've seen of me. When I come back, we'll hang out some, okay?
They've definitely gone out of their way to make it so that, like, Yu doesn't speak too much compared to some of the other characters, where, like, his friends are doing a lot more of the talking than they did in their own, or, like, in other people's stories. It is interesting, because I was thinking, like, what if he was completely silent? But the only yeah, no, I was thinking about it. I think the P3 protagonist in the, like, animated movies is mostly silent. He has a couple of, like, canonical voice lines or whatever that he says, but it's mostly stuff, like, towards the beginning where he's like, I don't really care about dying. You know? So, he's silent for most of the movie. Well, movies.
I'll be waiting, and so will everyone else.
Come back soon.
To lose such a rare beauty again. It's so tragic.
That's what you're sad about?
Everyone has their own response to Labris's news. But one thing's for sure, we'll be waiting for her. There's no lie behind that sentiment. After all, she's our friend. Mitsuru-san tells Labris that it's time, and they get back into the limo. Labris looks me right in the eye. She seems as if she might cry at any second, but is resolved not to. She smiles.
You guys are the best. I'm glad it was you who were there when I woke up.
Well, see ya.
And in machine. I wonder if there's truly a difference between them anymore. The thought comes to me as we wave our final goodbyes to Labris. The limo demonstrates impressive agility as it speeds off down the narrow rural roads.
Aw,
Rural rocky
she's
roads.
really gone. Seriously, wish she could have stayed a little longer.
I would have liked that myself, but they have their own tasks that must be done.
Yosuke and I share a glance after Nato says that. Their own tasks, huh? Not just theirs. We smile at each other. Ever since I answered Mitsuru-san's proposal inside the TV, I've had my mind made up. Yosuke already knows how I think. Then again, that conversation wasn't very long ago. It'd only been this morning. I don't know how she found my number, but after Labris's phone call earlier, I decided to cook breakfast for Nanako and my uncle. Nanako hears me making noise in the kitchen and stands next to me, excited.
I'll help too.
I panic for a moment when Nanako reaches for the other cutting board and a knife. I'd consider stopping her, and then decide not to.
If you're gonna use the knife, be careful, okay? Make sure you don't cut yourself.
Uh-huh. I'm always careful when I cook with you.
Well, be careful when I'm not around too, please. Nanako picks up a cucumber from the counter and begins slicing it diagonally. Her skills are still clumsy and unsteady, but all I do is caution her about how to hold the knife, and then I watch her work without intervening. She doesn't have to become a master all at once. All it takes is consistent progress, little by little. Same can be said for me or anybody. Even though things may hurt us, and we may want to give up, just have to keep trying. As many times as it takes, until we see our goals through. Instead of nothing changing, I wish to see everything changing, along with myself.
Oops, sorry, Nanako. Could you put the knife
Spoken
down
like
for
a
second?
true protagonist.
Okay.
I ensure that Nanako has put down the knife before I answer my phone. I don't have to look at the screen to know who's calling.
Hello? Is this Yosuke?
Like you don't know. Listen, about yesterday.
I thought this was coming.
Yosuke rushes on as if irritated we have to have this conversation over the phone, but I managed to calm him down. It's funny that he's getting so excited over this, but I'm glad he managed to wait the whole night before calling me.
Yosuke, do you remember the Moonlight Bridge? The one from our class trip?
It feels like it is canonical that Yosuke likes, Labris. Like, there's a little bit of a something there between them. It feels like. It feels like it's canonical. Because, like, even you notices that, like, he seems to be more bold in, like, asking Mitsuru-san about, like, whether they're gonna lock her up and everything. Like, it's unusual for him to kind of, like, put his, like, be that bold or kind of, like, tread on, like, such a touchy subject, you know? It's interesting, for sure. That's like consistent between like all of the stories so far, it seems like.
Yeah, sure. I used to be a city boy too, remember? Hey, were you checking
Oh,
out the
right!
Kiddo group online?
We did see, we went to the P3 island in P4. I completely forgot about that. Because like the school field trip was there. Oh, I completely forgot about that. But yeah, so they technically already know about the island and everything. Like, they've been there before. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Perceptive as always. Now that's my partner. When I went back to my room last night, I'd spent as much time as I could searching for information about the Grigio group online before I fell asleep. Of course, there wasn't anything about an organization involving Labras or Igus-san, but the little I did find there was better than nothing. Yosuke asked me if I plan to go back on my word to Mitsuru-san and to the others. I did say that we ought to trust them and solve this mystery, but I never said we'd let them do it alone. After all, the person behind everything may be after us. On top of that, they were using others in horrific ways.
You can't back down from this, right?
Now you're talking, partner.
Yosuke and I continue to talk. We know that we're getting closer and closer to a battle with an enemy we haven't even seen yet. There's only one thought in my mind. No matter what kinds of hardship await us on our path, we will continue to fight on. As long as we have friends that will walk the path alongside us. Nanako watches me talk on my cell phone and smiles.
You seem excited, big bro.
I smile back at her innocent face before making a confident declaration.
The investigation team is back in action.
Alright. Interesting that we don't see the declaration, but I guess that happens in the other stories. Alright! Well, that means only person left is Elizabeth. Completion rate won't be 100% because I don't think we did the joke endings for some of these characters. Yeah, it looks like these 4 have joke endings we could have done. So. Within the darkness, endless darkness are scattered countless bright lights, like a nebula. But those lights are not stars. Each one is the light of life, the gleam of man's souls. This is the world inside people's hearts, a place where every human's consciousness is connected and can be traced to their origin. Every memory since the dawn of man, and even those on the ladder of its evolution, slumbers here. Think of this place as a sea. And that may be correct. Depending on how deep you go, you may see this world's endless landscapes and innumerable faces. Oh, the Sea of Souls, right. Where I stand now is one of the furthest steps. A domain that has existed far before life became sentient, or even took form. Here, there is only the darkness of death and the radiance of life. I come here at times, for a very important objective. Suddenly, a patch of darkness surges and undulates. This pitch-black substance swells with a tar-like consistency and quickly takes the shape of a giant arm.
My, it's rather stout compared to before.
Oh, right. This is the, Hey, this is apt. This is the boss, from the end of The Answer. This two-headed monstrosity. I don't remember the context around it entirely. I think it's like an offshoot of Nyx that you end up fighting when you go back in time at the end of The Answer. Or whatever. To stop the, like, seal from being broken. The seal that MC created. So yeah, we'll be seeing this again relatively soon. It'll probably be a few weeks before we get to the end of The Answer. From what I remember, it's about 30 hours long. At least the original was. It'll probably be a bit shorter this time around, because the gameplay won't be as painful, but it's still probably going to be like a good 20 hours plus. So yeah, it'll probably be a few weeks to get through that. Yeah, we may still have time between that and, well, because next month is October, and it's early October that, ReFantazio comes out. Why does it have two heads? I don't know. I don't remember. Like I said, I don't remember the context around it. I think it was just supposed to be kind of a cool design. But yeah, it's kind of like, it also plays into the boss mechanic, though, where, like, it changes its attack pattern, depending on which head is, like, the dominant head. I don't know. I'm sure you could, like, dig into it and figure out the context of, like, why it has two heads, but it might have just been, oh, that's kind of a cool design. Just as good and evil are products of man's heart, there's a negative force here in the Sea of Souls that tempt man to corruption and destruction. Though one person's malice may amount to little, there are billions of people in the world. It's actually common for monsters capable of destroying mankind to develop without anyone realizing. This is one of them. Though it was only an arm at first, it quickly develops an enormous human-shaped torso. Even in the space where up and down are fluid, its resentment-filled roar causes the air to shake. The monster raises an enormous arm towards the heavens. Its destructive power could tear down mountains, but suddenly stops. Something is blocking its movement. I am, to be precise. You might think I'm nowhere on the scene. In truth, even the monster may be thinking that. But I'd like to direct your attention to the fingertips at the end of the giant arm. Closer. Even closer than that. Keep going closer. All the way to the index finger.
There. Do you see me now? Have I forgotten to introduce myself? My name is Elizabeth.
I fix my gaze upon the two lights that seem to be the monster's eyes, but it twists away, trying to resist.
Do you wish to behold death that much?
I grab the monster's index finger. Yeah, I think, story-wise, if I remember correctly, it's a monster born of people still wishing for Nyx to come, for the end to come. And this is part of the reason why the MC has to be a seal. Still, is because this monster still exists. We batter it down as the final boss in The Answer, but it'll come back again eventually, like it does here. It seems Elizabeth has taken on the role of battering it down for us every once in a while, but as long as people continue to wish for death, as long as people continue to wish for everything to end, it will continue to revive itself and manifest, and that's why the MC still has to be a seal. I grab the monster's index finger, and in one motion, I flip its immense body and throw it into the air. The monster cries out in agony, and the area quakes again.
Oh dear. It seems it won't be easy for one of this size. I cannot damage the world of everyone's hearts, and I hesitate to make a scene in the real world either. Time for a change of scenery.
I open the elegant grimoire in my hand. A large blue magic circle forms behind the thrown monster, swallowing the gargantuan figure. I follow it in. Continual, turbulent streams of light and darkness flow past the monster and myself. Eventually, I speak up.
We will soon reach our destination.
Call back to Persona 3. Another magic circle appears in an altogether different kind of black void than the one we came from. The monster is spat out there, and when it collides with the surface, a tremendous cloud of dust rises. I emerge from the magic circle and rise into the air. On the horizon beyond the monster, I can see a deep blue sphere. Oh. Yes, this is the moon.
Now, I had promised to show you death. Your fate is in the cards.
A figure appears behind me, bearing several coffins.
The god of death, Thanatos. What do you think?
The light of the stars shines off its drawn sword and gleams bewitchingly. I wish we had art of this. Gosh dang, I wish we had art of this. Like official art of Elizabeth summoning Thanatos in space on the moon against the boss. Dang, I wish we had official art of this.
Was it to your liking? Well then, farewell.
It flings the sword down at the monster's head. Against its fearsome size, the sword is barely larger than a needle, but the sword's merciless sharpness pierces far beyond the blade's length. The monster's body splits apart like wet paper. With a final death cry, the monster slowly dissolves and evaporates as black mist. A deafening silence returns to the arena. Somebody's probably drawn fan art of it, yeah. It'd be cool to see that. It's funny that she just deletes it, because I remember that boss taking me like 40 minutes because I was under-leveled, because I was rushing through the answer at the time, because I was not enjoying it. But yeah. To break the quiet, a tune plays on my lips.
Velvet, oh velvet.
Right, this song. I create another magic circle in the air and step through it. I shouldn't remain long in this world without any real objective. This is not the world I belong in, after all.
My master has a large nose.
Because I just finished the original Persona 3 after like 90 hours. Or, sorry, 110 hours, I think, was the original length of my playtime when first finishing P3 Fez. And then, so I got, like, kind of burnt out on Persona 3 Fez, and especially the answer, because the answer is kind of ass, not gonna lie. It sucks to play through, especially right after the main game, because you go back to, like, level 20 and everything. You don't have a compendium, and the bosses are harder, and there's, like, very little story. And, like, the design of the dungeon is a bit more annoying than even the original, was it Tartarus? And, I was just ready to be done with it after 30 hours, and so I just went, I was trying to get through it as quickly as possible without having to grind a bunch. I was doing fine. Like, I got through everything, even being a little under-leveled. I eventually killed the boss. It's just that it took a while, and everything, so. It took, like, a good 40 minutes. And even then, I had to, like, pause the game a minute and turn off the, like, blue light filter that I set to turn on, like, an hour before I went to bed. Because I used to start streams in, like, the second half of the day all the time. Like, imagine if I started a stream at the time I usually do, like, these streams, but then I went for 8 hours. So, anyway. Not gonna lie, there's a lot of things that suck about the answer. Like the original PS2 Fez answers, like, things, so. I don't know, hopefully they'll make it better this time around. I was once a resident of the Velvet Room and served its master. The dark blue clothing I still wear is from that time. All the residents have their roles, but they are also on a journey. We help our guests grow as people, and the help we and through that help we offer, come to understand the ultimate question. It's the fundamental question of who are we?
Thinking back on it, I spent so many days like that for such a long time.
Yeah, there's quite a few days. Little under a year, if I remember correctly, Elizabeth. No, a little over a year, technically. Yep. I remember playing that every day for over a year. Why was the P3 Velvet Room an elevator? Probably because Tartarus. Because P3 and P4, at least, both had the theme of their Velvet Rooms being, like, on a journey. So both at the end of P3, the elevator reaches the top floor finally, and in P4, the limousine reaches its final destination because you have reached the end of your journey. With P3, it's probably an elevator because, like I said, Tartarus, because you're climbing towards the top. And then with P4, it was a limousine. A, because they thought it would look cool, probably. And B, I guess because, I don't know, maybe because car and, like, also driving through the fog and stuff. So. But yeah, that's why P3 Velvet Room was an elevator. Also, that's why Elizabeth is meant to be kind of like a elevator attendant somewhat in that one. Where she'll say, you know, like, we've almost arrived at our destination towards the end and stuff. P5, you didn't have that kind of theming to it. I wonder if they'll go back to that in P6. Because in P5, the theming was that you were locked up. Like you're the reflection and of the heart, and due to the imposter Igor's influence, it turned into a jail cell instead of like a place of growth, or like a symbolism of like growing and like moving forward. It was instead turned into a place where you were reformed and broke free from what imprisoned you, if that makes sense. So that's my understanding for why it was an elevator. Also, kind of as it kind of looks cool to see the like lights passing by in the background. So part of it is just like what would be a cool way to do this, but also kind of symbolize kind of like moving forward or like rising upwards or whatever, you know? Like what can have motion so that at the end we can say that we finally reached our destination or whatever, right?
I had thought that it would be impossible to change.
But 2 years ago, I finally reached my answer. One's identity cannot be sought out, but must be forged for oneself. It's something you build, little by little. People call the freedom to do so potential. And by mastering it, people develop their unique identities. This is the understanding I came to. So it seemed to me I should believe in my own potential, and wander in pursuit of my desire. It wasn't a hard conclusion to come to. That's why I abandoned my assigned role and departed on my long journey. I have set an objective for myself. Defeat the monster I fought a moment ago once and for all. I vanquished it then, but that is only temporary.
It'll surely resurrect within the year again, and I'll go through today once more.
That monster was born from the twisted wishes arising from the lack of substance in people's lives. It slowly stagnates and sleeps out. If this is life, then bring on death. Desires like that are what give it power. And that giant black arm tries to free death from its prison. It can never be left to act on its aims. As long as people continue to wish as they do, the foul feelings will congeal and will revive endlessly. To truly defeat The monster would be to change the very souls of the people. That cannot be done, no matter how much one improves their skill in battle. I do not currently know if this goal can be attained, but it may be that no one in this world knows yet. Some new and unknown miraculous power will most likely be required. That is why I wish to travel as far and wide as I can to broaden my horizons. Since I have only interacted with the guests of the room, I'm sure the scope of my knowledge is far inferior to a single human's. But there are infinite places for me to explore. I'll travel to each one and satisfy my natural curiosity.
Now, that's why I have come here. A double check on the danger scale situation that I just recently discovered.
I place my hands on my hips in what I believe to be standing firm. Before me is what seems to be a replica of a building in the real world.
Since multiple Persona users gathering, it's once in a blue moon that one discovers a place like this. I'm sure I can learn some interesting things here, or something along those lines. In any case, I, Elizabeth, can scarcely keep myself from getting involved.
For someone with a physical form to step into the realm of the mind would be for them to enter an even more abstract place than the Velvet Room. Normally, it would be impossible, and even if it were, it would be very dangerous without a firm will. But for it to occur at all is intriguing enough. But on top of that, these people are mainly Persona users, and not just one or two. There's no denying that something truly extraordinary is happening here. Broaden horizons aside, I can't resist taking a closer look. When I get closer, I see a nameplate reading Yasogami High School at what seems to be the main gate.
This building, is it a school?
The school building before me looks aged, and I narrow my eyes.
It seems somewhat old-fashioned compared to the school I have experience with, but it has
It's 105 degrees from here right now. Rest in peace, Nash. I wish you the best. I'm so sorry. That sounds like it sucks, not gonna lie. I hope you're, like, somewhere, like, in the shade with a drink somewhere.
This is what they call animalist aesthetic. Animalist?
Minimalist.
Bestial? Anyway, something along those lines.
There are bizarre decorations as far as the eye can see inside the building. Was this school always thus adorned?
These decorations. Could this be the fabled school festival I've heard tell of? A festival is where one toys with the lives of goldfish in a scandalous game.
I mean, not entirely wrong.
One can also enjoy a combat simulation with close-range shooting tests using sniper rifle fire into the interior of stalls. Ooh, I'm starting to get excited.
Typical Liz. I see no matter how much she has learned, she still hasn't learned, a lot about human society. Looking up, I spy a large sign done in vibrant colors.
B1 Grand Prix. Could this be a fighting tournament? This isn't why the Persona users are gathering, is it?
No sooner did my suspicions arise than I sensed the first presence within the school and turned towards it. Come, challenger. I wave my arms about in anticipation, but something seems a bit odd.
That lady over there, she not a Persona user? Regardless of that, I sense something out of the ordinary.
Oh, Labris. Didn't we see that Labris met Elizabeth before everybody else showed up a minute? I think that's right. Before she ran into anybody else, she ran into Elizabeth. And Elizabeth had, like, a warning for her. Like, hey, you've forgotten something important that you shouldn't have forgotten. When I close my eyes, I can tell that she may appear to be a human girl. Something about her is amiss. I sense a most unnatural disconnect from her memories and consciousness, not seen in most people.
Is she truly human?
Now that I'm here, I can sense powerful commands gathering one by one. If such power were to be used to its fullest in clashes of skill, the results could be life-threatening. This place is not meant for such a girl. If you were to be drawn into this, then in the worst case scenario...
Were I still my old self when I only lived to play out my role, I would leave her be. But I am different now.
I make my way towards the girl. In a way, having any of the Velvet Room attendants acting on their own impulses and desires outside of their duties is kind of scary, not gonna lie. Because even in the fights with the MC, where they bring out their fullest potential, even then, they're not using, like, their entire power, it seems. Like, they're using a lot of their power, but they're not using all of it. They're just trying to draw out the most power that they can from their guests, you know? I don't know. Just the idea of, like, basically a demigod acting on its own wishes outside. It's basically, yeah, that's basically what it is, right? It's like, think of somebody who's, like, just as strong as the MC, if not stronger, and is, like, acting on their own whims. Slightly terrifying. As I approach her, I begin to hear voices. It seems she's calling herself a student council president. I stride down to the end of the hallway where she's walking, directly into her view. The girl gives me a slightly questioning look, but no more. She comes towards me guilelessly.
Hey, excuse me. You got some reason to be at our school?
Up close, I can tell at once. There's no doubt this girl is not human, yet she seems to be under that impression. The original residents of this place seem to believe that he is as well, but that, of course, is impossible. The disconnect I sensed earlier must be related.
Could someone have tampered with her memories and psyche?
Mainline games where you're Velvet attendant in training. It sounds kind of interesting as like a spin-off thing. But I think the closest we're going to get to that is probably Jose from P5. Jose seems like he could be a future attendant. That would kind of make sense. But I think you shouldn't... I don't know. I think this is one of those cases where not explaining everything is in your best interest as a storyteller. Because some things are better left off, like left unsaid when it comes to storytelling. In certain cases, I think some things are better left vague. And the creation and thought process of Velvet Room attendants is generally one of those things, I think. I think having an air of mystery and mystique around them makes for a better experience overall. Like, you get to know them a little bit, but they're the intermediary between you and the unknown. They shouldn't be completely known. They shouldn't be, you know, a known quantity. There should always be a little bit of like, I don't know what exactly you want from me or what you're thinking right now. No matter how unusual her circumstances, such extreme gaps in awareness are no mere figments of the imagination. It's possible, but normally those with a distorted view of reality have equally distorted emotions. I do not sense that in her. Her emotions are in balance, only her memories and awareness fall short, like a corpse de ballet falling behind a soloist. I fix my gaze upon the girl before me once again. She did not come here of her own will. And the events here may be more sinister than I imagined.
Are you sure this is how things should be?
Huh? What are you talking about?
Okay, so yeah, this is similar dialogue, at least, to the end of Labrys's story that we saw.
I am a wanderer who only stopped here because I sensed great power gathering. I am in no position to give advice, but, this place will soon be caught in a bit of a fracas. If you continue to avert your eyes from everything, I think it will have an impact on your life in the near future.
My life?
What you choose is up to you, but I believe there are factors preventing you from making the right choices at the moment. I couldn't bring myself to just stand by and watch as you lost your life before my eyes. That is why I came to you, so I could give you one last chance.
I really hope they pay off Jose, and I hope they continue along with this idea of Elizabeth doing stuff on her own in, like, side games. I really hope stuff like that continues to get paid off and, like, carried through to future games, and they don't just drop those ideas. Because they're pretty interesting ideas, I think. She has most likely forgotten who she is. I sense something shining, slumbering deep in her heart. It's the glow of a bond. No one who has been a resident of the Velvet Room could mistake it for anything else. Before she forgot herself, she must have had strong feelings about someone or had made a promise to them. But I'll leave it to her to remember what it was. I hold out the Persona Compendium as if handing it to the girl and open its pages. Light streams out from it and washes over her. The light dispels the girl's false image, the illusion that made her seem human, though she's not.
Huh? What is this?
Her true form is revealed as a gleaming mechanical body. Her arms look as if steel plates were covering them. The girl frantically pulls at them and tries to tear them off.
It won't come off. What gives?
My, what a robotically cool body. It is apparently meant for battle.
Hey, you! What did you do to me?
Nothing in particular. Well, considering that you are meant for battle, I shall briefly be your opponent. During that time, why not think back about who you are?
Huh? My opponent?
Most likely, I will not get through to her with words alone. Only by being forced into confrontation will she be able to understand. She already knows how to use steel limbs, which she supposedly never before seen.
And away we go.
It's just like a Velvet Room attendant to pick a fight to test somebody, isn't it? That seems to be mostly what they do. That was kind of a long intro to Elizabeth, but yeah. It's cool. It was interesting. Yeah. This whole thing with Elizabeth is very interesting. Interested to see how much her and Margaret come up in Ultimax as well. Oh, right, and we get her theme. Nice.
My attack. Here, some freezing. Oh my. Time for you're pretty good. Impressive. Oh no. Take this. Here, some freezing. My turn. Now. This may be a good time. My turn. My turn. My attack. My attack. Persona. My turn. My turn. You're frozen now.
The girl collapses powerlessly. I used a soft touch during that battle. She should have sustained no injuries. Probably. Still, the girl does not stand back up. Apparently due to mental rather than physical stress. Her own arms and legs had turned metallic. In the heat of battle, she was able to use those foreign appendages with ease. If she truly thought herself to be human, that would come as quite a shock.
That should be enough. I'm sure you realize now that you are not human. There must have been an important promise that could only be kept in that guise. That must have been your reason for living. Whether it's worth losing that or not, I ask that you give it serious thought.
An important promise. My reason for living?
Her potential will become unlocked through self-reflection. That was how it happened for me as well.
Now, it seems the tumult of trials is about to begin. In which case, I bid you good luck.
I close the compendium in my hand, and the worn pages rustle as they meet. By the time it shuts, I'm already far away from the girl. In my absence, the illusion is again in place, giving her the appearance of a human once more. She may consider what happened to be a daydream, and that is quite all right. My intention was to give her an opportunity to awaken to the truth. What she eventually decides is up to her. Besides all that, there's something else on my mind. The girl I fought looked human, but wasn't. It is rare for even one such as I, with an unmatchably long lifespan, to meet someone like her. Yet she is the second person I have known. The other was also a guest of mine once. She too resembled a human girl. I can sense her power here somewhere as well. Most likely, she is here for reasons having to do with the girl I met.
What an intriguing event. More so than I had first imagined.
Though I came here on a mere whim, this trip may be unexpected fruit. Perhaps I'll discover something important. My interest piqued even more now. I decide to go further in. When I do, the bustle of voices reach my ears. Is that a cheer? One of the monitors nearby turns on after the cheer dies down. It's showing a girl in a school uniform.
Ladies and gentlemen, is everyone ready? It's time to get our program started. I, Bissette, will be your commentator. Please, hold your applause. Oh, you're too kind, you're too kind. Well, with things starting to heat up now, the General has a few words for you. The mic's all yours, sir.
Next, a person who appears to be the host takes the girl's place. Actually, person may be incorrect. That intriguing fluffiness and tantalizingly round body.
Well then, I'm proud to announce the opening
Of course, of course, another like person. Yeah, like Elizabeth would totally fawn over Teddy and his unique shape when she.
Presenting the manliest of all men.
This is more of a to-do than I thought.
I keep watching as a video with some upbeat music plays.
Is this an introduction to the contestants?
A number of girls and boys are introduced at a steady pace. I haven't seen any of their faces before, but they all appear to be Persona users. Each one of them is tagged with a mocking epithet.
The carnivore who's discarded womanhood, the blood-curdling beefcake emperor, the sister complex kingpin. Are these signs of their willingness to cast aside their pride in pursuit of victory? I wonder if they're not casting aside a little too much. This is a rather novel idea.
There's no denying that those with power are gathering here for the tournament. The video comes to a close. Since I came here on my own whim, I am obviously not featured in it. How unfortunate. I catch myself pounding my lips.
Should I officially enter this as well? Oh, but if the manliest of all men are the ones called forth, I cannot participate. Then again,
True, best girl can't
distinctly
participate
spotted
in
a
that
woman or two
competition.
in the introductory video, then I shan't concern myself with such trifling details. I shall soldier on.
The next time the host appears on a monitor, I will make my entry. Sometimes they mess up stuff on purpose with Elizabeth because she mispronounces or misunderstands words' meanings or confuses two words that sound similar. The next time the host appears on a monitor, I'll make my entreaty. Right, okay. If he turns me down, then I shall resort to force. Very good. My mind made up, I begin to walk through the school. Battles. Oh, where might I find a battle? I look into a window nearby. Aha!
Oh my! The host himself is before my eyes.
Before I realize it, I am already in motion.
Pardon my dynamic entrance.
Someone's here!
Looking around, I see a piano and portraits of famous composers lining the walls. I see. This must be what they call a music room.
Please forgive me for startling you.
Ooh! Who are you, miss?
I am Elizabeth, a mere elevator attendant, albeit one who is currently utterly neglecting her duties.
An elevator attendant? I don't believe it! I'm having culture shock! I wish Junessa's elevators had such beautiful attendants, too!
Excuse me, but may I ask your name?
Teddy! Doi!
I'm sorry. Would you mind repeating that in human language?
I was saying it normally. Teddy is my name, and I'm a proud bear!
I see. Teddy Bear. You have a rather creative flair to your appearance.
I wish you'd say cute instead. Though hearing a pretty lady like you say so makes my
These
heart
two
skip
are
a beat.
quite the pair, aren't they? Oh boy. Watching him, I cannot restrain my curiosity any longer and prod his soft fur with abandon.
Huh? What are you doing?
They This seems to lack ventilation. How does he breathe in there? Oh, there's a zipper.
Stop! I'm ticklish. Oh no! No opening! You're embarrassing me.
Oh, please forgive me. Curiosity almost killed the bear.
Huh? What were you planning on doing to me?
Well, that's because half of her being weird isn't because Teddy, half of him being weird is him just being pervy, either through bad translation or bad characterization.
You're even a tougher customer than the kids at the food court, miss.
When I step away, the teddy bear lightly smooths over his fur to try and regain his composure.
Oh, I had forgotten what I originally meant to ask because of your fine coat of hair. Teddy bear, though I am a woman, I wish to partake in this Grand Prix.
Huh? I can't help you with that.
Well, that's just Elizabeth being Elizabeth.
Oh, but are you not the host shown in the introduction video?
It's all a huge misunderstanding. That guy's an imposter. Won't you hear me out?
It seems he is faced with some kind of dilemma. I decided to lend an ear to Teddy Bear. He animatedly describes his circumstances, but his arms and legs are too short to illustrate his point. I just noticed Elizabeth's eyes are drawn more orange here than yellow. I wonder if that's a deliberate choice, given that the other, like, we saw the main antagonist appear as Shadow Kanji, and he had more orangish eyes. I wonder if he too is like a resident of this world. His mannerisms are so peculiar that understanding it is an uphill battle. But in the end, I grasp the basics.
I see. So you realized that something was amiss and came wandering in here yourself to investigate. But you fell into the imposter's trap and couldn't do a thing until a moment ago. You have my deepest sympathies.
Do I really? Anyways, everyone else is on the contestant list while I get the cold shoulder.
Is that so? Then, since we are both outcasts, let us participate of our own accord.
Our own?
May I request a match from you?
That makes no sense at all. What do you mean? Ooh, maybe a
Oh, jeez. Yeah, see, this is why we don't like Teddy. Or at least when he's written like this. Because he does get better. Like, see, the one thing about... The main difference between Teddy and Morgana, in my opinion, is that Teddy, like, gets better, right? Like, he has an actual arc, and, like, you kind of feel for him, and he does get a little bit better, at one point. And it's kind of fun, you know? And, like, he gets to interact with the main crew as, like, in a human body, in a way. And, like, you know, he has, like... He becomes more of a well-rounded person. And even if he is a little silly sometimes, and, like, a little bad, he, like, it gets better. But Morgana, he never gets better. He only gets less annoying. Because he talks less. Well, no, not even that, really. Yeah, but how many people can be better than a dog? Let's be honest.
A one-on-one battle to the extreme.
That makes no sense. Wait a second. You look a lot stronger than me, miss.
Oh, don't be so modest.
No, I'm really not.
I'm very sorry, but the deadline for submitting a forfeit notice has expired.
I'm not sorry at all. There are things I can't do, you know. Oh, but on the other hand, if I can try scoring with you later, I might rethink this.
Scoring? I do not understand the term, but if that is your stipulation, why, I accept.
Oh, you accept? Woohoo! I'm ready to go whenever you are.
That is, if you're still alive afterward. Well then, here goes. Your fate is in the cards.
I take my fighting stance. Settling matters through a show of sports is simple, straightforward, and so beautiful.
Finally!
My turn. Here and freeze. Pardon me. Here and freeze. My attack.
Oh, she has a throw attack. Nice.
You're frozen now.
I'll have to figure out what the counter is
Your fate is in
that
the
she uses against me.
Your fate is in the claw. Vanishing. Opening my
Ha! Well, Thanatos can do that, huh? I did want to get through that fight without taking any damage, and I certainly did that. Of course, it leaves him susceptible to getting countered, and then you, if he takes too much damage, he's gone until he regenerates, but yeah. With an exaggerated groan, Teddy Bear collapses, or rolls down to be more precise.
Teddy Bear, you truly are an intriguing creature.
Hearing this, Teddy Bear springs to his feet.
Are you interested in me?
Though you aren't human, you fight against your fate and wish to be with humans. I have witnessed one other case who bore such a fate in the past.
I guess.
Huh?
You made a choice and decided how you wish to live. That is marvelous, Teddy Bear.
Marvelous? Me? Does that mean you're still okay with me trying to score with you?
That is not what it means.
I like how even though she doesn't know quite what scoring means, she understands the implications and it's like, no. Even Elizabeth's like, no, never. Teddy Bear loses his balance for some unknown reason and falls over.
No! The way you shoot down my attempts reminds me of Yuki-chan.
Yuki-chan? Is this an acquaintance of yours?
Yuki-chan is a very precious friend of mine.
You have friends.
Actually, everyone who is in that video are my friends. But I can't forgive them for having all the fun. I'll make them buy me a tasty treat for this.
I see. May I ask you something? Who would you consider the strongest among your friends?
This is why Elizabeth shows up in front of Narukami, isn't it?
Well, Sensei, of course. He's the manliest of all men.
Sensei. If I recall correctly, that is the name of a governing class within a school, wielding the power of life and death over its students. Yes, that does indeed sound like the name of a strong warrior.
Sensei's our leader.
He sounds strong, but he seems to be unconnected to the former guest I am searching for. But as Teddy Bear speaks of his friend called Sensei, he wears a beaming expression. They must be connected with a truly strong bond. Inwardly, I am surprised. Though he's adorable, this teddy bear most likely used to be something similar to a shadow. I'm very curious about anyone who could form a bond with such a being. Thinking about it that way makes me interested in him as well.
Oh, that was quite helpful. Thank you.
Once the tournament's over, you should come hang out at Junes sometime.
Junes?
It's a place where Don Yosuke and I work. It's huge. You can eat food there, and they have candy, toys, and sexy bikinis too.
What a paradise on Earth. It seems there is still much I do not know about in your world. Well then, if you'll excuse me, I must get going now.
Be careful!
I bow politely. Teddy Bear waves back with a big smile. Now, though I decided to participate on my own, how should I proceed from here? Iwatodai dorm music. Old Iwatodai dorm music now, I guess. I don't have a good understanding of this build's layout after all. I try going in and out of the building to test Barrier Pass, but I don't get anywhere. Dance. Put you in a trance.
It may have come to this.
I rear back my head and inhale as deeply as I can. And then...
Bring out the next opponent! No one heeded my call. I suppose repeating that line isn't enough.
My shoulders sag slightly, and I concentrate on the area nearby. I sense an unexpected presence.
Ha! There is someone closer by than I had expected. What a reunion this will be!
Oh, I guess?
I'm starting to feel tingly.
There's no need for me to keep searching for an opponent, since one is already nearby. I think technically, the entire crew does see Elizabeth at one point, because she explains about Nyx and everything, and lets them see what happened during the MC's fight with Nyx. at the end of the game. So I think Elizabeth technically has met the entire P3 crew at one point, or is at least aware of them. I trace the presence and proceed down the hallway. When I hear what appears to be an entryway, I can hear what sounds like voices quarreling. One of the voices is Teddy Bear, or rather, the sham host, General Teddy.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! What a fight! No wonder you're an anti-shadow weapon.
Right, yeah, this is during Aegis'
no
thing.
joy at all from your praise.
As I move forward, I find myself breaking into a run. Soon afterwards, the voice's owner enters my field of vision. Just as I had thought, that unmistakable figure. She's the guest I hosted in my life as a resident. If I recall correctly, her name is Aegis. Upon closer inspection, she's aiming her weapon at General Teddy on the monitor.
Pointing your weapon at a monitor isn't very scary. But anyways, your next opponent is...
Oh, if I don't act now, the match will start without me. I must prevent General Teddy from speaking for the time being until my business is completed. And before I realize it, I am already in motion.
Oh no! Pardon my bold entrance.
She just smashed the monitor, didn't she?
Huh? Oh, the monitor's completely shattered. Who would do such a thing?
A strange intruder has shown up.
Oh my. I thought we were having a touching reunion. How unfortunate that you would refer to me as a strange intruder.
A reunion? I don't recall ever meeting anyone so odd.
Really? Is that accurate? No, that can't be. Because, like, the P4 and P5 characters obviously recognize the Velvet Room attendants. Why would Aegis not remember Elizabeth? I can't think of any reason why she wouldn't.
She who governs power. Does that ring any bells for you?
Huh? Wait. Are you the one I met in that blue
Maybe
room,
she
then?
just didn't expect her to be here, so she wasn't thinking about it when she saw her?
Your entrance just now was very different from how I remembered your behavior.
Ah, yeah.
So I didn't
That's fair.
recognize you.
She's never seen her outside of her duties.
Eridanus' son.
No.
Elixir? Erengi?
That's weird. Why does Aegis have trouble remembering Elizabeth? Maybe because she no longer has that power?
In any case, I never dreamed that I'd meet you here.
That goes for myself as well. It's been a long time since I saw you. But why are you here? What about your duties of governing power?
I am currently in gross abandonment of my duties.
That was a very straightforward answer.
These two as well, with the way they speak. We didn't really see them speak to each other too much in the answer as well. Elizabeth didn't do much in the answer outside of her expected duties, so they didn't really interact too much.
Considering the circumstances here, I'd like to test your strength as well.
I excitedly flipped through the pages of the compendium.
What? Please, wait a moment. Does that mean you wish to fight me?
From what I've heard, in certain cultures in your world, one lets one's fists do the talking. Perhaps you could think of it as a sporty, modern, and extreme way of greeting one another.
Extreme is correct.
I don't understand at all.
You seem to have become strong beyond all recognition. I'd like to see your power for myself, to broaden my horizons.
Yeah.
Will you grant my shameless request?
I still don't understand. But does this mean your wish will be fulfilled if I agree to fight you? If that's really what you want. Will you mind if I don't hold back?
I couldn't ask for anything more. I, Elizabeth, will fight you with all the strength at my disposal.
Try not to break.
Now, let us begin.
Settling matters through a show of force is simple, straight. Pardon me. I said that once already. It's funny how they're kind of fourth wall breaking a little bit here with Elizabeth. Not too much, but like, she's looking at the camera and explaining things kind of way, you know? Or being like, oh, sorry, I already said that, you know? In her thoughts.
Finally,
Hey, music.
Damage. Gyro heavy damage. No. Pardon me. Here. Gyro heavy damage. No. Severe impact. This one will hurt. No. Severe impact. My turn.
Holy cow!
This one will hurt. My attack. Gyro heavy damage. No. Severe impact. My ready my death. Persona. No. Severe impact. You're frozen. No. No. Damage. My attack. Gyro heavy
Oh, jeez. Okay. I was gonna say, I see why people like playing as Elizabeth in this game.
Severe impact. Mobile functions shutting down.
I got through most of that without taking a single lick of damage. It is fun to combo with her. Yeah. I do wish that the AIs were a little bit better, so I would have to get a bit better at the game. Probably Aigis or Yukari, to be honest with you. I think that the MC is important to Elizabeth, but I don't know if what they have is could be considered normal romance, because there's very little that's normal about Elizabeth. I think she cares about the MC in her own way, but I don't know, like, if she would necessarily say she loves him in a way a human might. Yukari is technically a canonical love interest because that was the idea when they wrote the original script before things got changed later down the line. And then Aigis is obviously a somewhat canonical love interest due to the events of not only The Answer but also the end of P3, where she's the one who's with him at the end of his life and everything. So I'd say Aigis, personally. I know Yukari's kind of got a reason to. It's funny, I responded to a comment earlier today. It was a guy on the tier video being like, in Spanish, being like, no matter how good Yukari is, I hate her, so I will refuse to put her in my party. And I responded back with Google Translate, yeah, sorry, I don't speak Spanish. And then I responded back in English like, but yeah, I agree. I don't really like Yukari in the original either. She got a little bit better in Reload, but it's still kind of eh. Although it'll be interesting to see how she is in the Answer DLC when that comes out, because a good chunk of the reason why people don't like her, Yukari, is how she acted in the Answer DLC. So, sorry, in the Answer edition that was added with P3 Fez. P4 MC, I don't know if he has a canonical love interest. I don't think you can say Margaret, really. Like, definitely not the same relationship that Elizabeth has with her MC, as well as like, there wasn't a canonical love interest planned in mind with his. People think Rise. I think there's lots. I think you can make an argument for a lot of the girls, pretty much all the girls in P4, and that's kind of the point. Like, all the main, like, party member girls, right? I think you can make an argument with, like, most of them, if not all of them. Marie, maybe, yeah, maybe Marie. But then you would could say the same thing with Joker and Sumeri, except for Naoto. Yeah, people like to ship Naoto with Kanji, and I do like that ship as well. I guess if you wanna stretch things a little bit and say that Chie and Yukiko like each other, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think they're just good friends. I think that maybe at one point they were meant to be more than that, considering that at one point you were also able to date Yosuke. I could see them dipping in, and you do get a little bit of Yuri themes between the two, especially like with the shadow version of Yukiko kind of flirting with her and stuff. Yosuke, yeah, people, I don't know. Even in the when that was going to be an option, it was more of a joke option than anything else. However you feel about that, I don't know. I feel like they're just good partners, but like they're just good friends. But so I guess if Naoto, Yukiko, and Rise are off the table, or if Yukiko, Chie, and Naoto are off the table, then that only really leaves Rise, and Rise is pretty cute with the MC. So P5 MC might be Makoto, I suppose. Yeah. The thing with P4 and P5 is they didn't go through a phase
You're
where
strong.
they knew that social, because P3 went through a phase in its writing of the script and like the overall story where they didn't have social links, and so there were quote unquote like canonical love interests for the MC and everything. Kind of like how in P1 Maya is kind of the quote unquote canonical love interest for the MC, you know? But P4 and P5 doesn't have that. They knew that they were going to do social links going into it, so they didn't like overly lean one way or the other when writing out the main plot and like some of the main events of it. Furthermore, ever since Persona 3, with Persona 4 and 5, you don't have character growth outside of the initial joining the party take place inside the plot. Like, part of the reason why it's hard to do social links for the guys in Persona 3, even though they've done attempts at it with both Persona 3 Portable and Persona 3 Reload, or like mini social links, you know, with Persona 3 Reload, it's hard to do right because the growth of the characters is directly tied to the plot, especially with like Junpei and stuff, and that's, I think, part of the reason why they had to trench out when you could hang out with the guys and like when new hangouts with them unlocked. So it would be oh sorry, Maya's P2, right? Yeah, my bad. I think P1 also has a canonical love interest though of the like main girl, but yeah, you're right, Maya's P2, sorry. But anyway, so like P3 originally had a more traditional plot structure without social links and stuff, so it had more traditional like kind of hinting at like who might the main love interest would be, and that was probably Yukari and Aigis, as like the best candidates for who you would consider canonically like a love interest based off of the events of the main game. But like P4 and P5, they knew they were going to do social links, so they didn't like lean towards anyone specifically, except for maybe with like the additions with P4, you know, getting Marie and everything, P4 Golden getting Marie, so it kind of like leans a bit more on Marie, especially for that section, than the other characters, because she's a new character and everything. And then again with P5, you know, Sumeri gets a bit more of an emphasis on her than some of the other girls, just because she has a whole like section dedicated to her pretty much. Could Akechi be canonical? No. Hot take, I don't think the Akechi Joker ship makes sense at all. I think it's just teenage girls wanting to ship together hot boys. I think that's what it comes down to. Aigis crouches down with a regretful expression.
Oh no, I was surprised myself. It's been a while since I fought with all my power.
Yeah. People talk about how guys are, you know, pretty horny all the time, and that's true. But there's definitely some high school girls, like teenage girls, who also get, you know, pretty excited when they see hot guys being shipped together or whatever, or just see hot guys or whatever, you know. Just the same way that like guys like hot girls, there's a lot of girls that like hot guys in their media as well. It's the same thing. I mean, it's whatever. Like, do fan art to like fan fiction of anybody you like, but you know, do I consider it canonical or likely to would it ever be a thing? No. On, maybe. I don't know. I kind of like On and who's the best friend in that game in P5. Oh shoot, I'm drawing a blank. Chiho? No, not On's best friend, the MC's best friend. the spiky-haired, blonde guy, soccer leg injury, pirate persona, electric user, bat user, physical. Ryuji, yes. Ryuji. Yeah, I kind of like Ann and Ryuji together. I mean, we know that they've been good friends for a while, or at least friends. So, and I kind of like their interactions. I think maybe if we saw a bit more of them interacting, it'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, you know, of them getting together. But we don't see a ton of them interacting outside of the intro. Maybe that's just why, though, because they interact somewhat, actually, in the intro, where with the other characters. By the time you get to, like... By the time you get to Makoto, things are ballooning to the point where you can't have any, like, too many special interactions between any particular characters, so... I close my eyes and reminisce. Just as I expected, she had grown more powerful than before. Aegis is not human. She has an artificial body, making her a sort of mechanical maiden. She was originally created as a tool to accomplish a set goal with established abilities. But by gaining a heart, she forged her own destiny. She did this with the power that can only be gained by those with emotions. The power of bonds. Her nature shifted from one directed by others to one who chooses for herself. She was no longer merely acting, but living. This shift caused a miracle, and she overcame her artificial origins to attain what could be called life. Some have the talent of turning bonds into great strength by forming a contact through intense desire. We residents of the Velvet Room refer to this talent as the wild card, and it has at times changed the course of history. Even I, who served as a resident for a long time, only encountered a few with that power. She is one of them.
I now have a wish of my own.
Yeah, I think Haru gets better, especially in, like, Strikers and stuff. And she's good in Tactica as well. I like her quite a bit more in those. But yeah, she doesn't get a lot of time to shine in her original game, unfortunately.
Oh, it may take vast oceans of time for it to come true. Perhaps one day you will accompany me on the same journey.
What do you
she said the same thing when we fought with her as Aegis.
If our destinies truly do cross, you will eventually understand.
Aegis' expression shows that she still does not understand. But that is fine for now. Yeah, I think Futaba's off limits.
Huh. By the way, how have your friends been?
I don't know. Yeah. From an age gap thing, it is weird at the time of the actual... I don't know. Like, if they got older, like, if Futaba was, like, older, the age gap thing wouldn't be as weird. But, like, there's not that much of an age gap where, like, they couldn't overcome it. But if Futaba was older. But, like, the sister thing is, like, no-go, I think.
Huh? Oh, they're all well. Several of them are here right now.
Suddenly, a staticky voice echoes from the broken monitor speaker, interrupting our conversation. It seems I was not thorough in my destruction.
Testing. It's finally getting through. Hey, you! The one who's not on the roster! Who are you? Why are you gumming up the works?
It's that bear.
If you keep messing with my Grand Prix, I'll make you...
I snapped the fingers on my right hand with a flourish. The speaker explodes. I'm sure that the announcement will bother us no more now. It seems I have finally finished it off.
Oh my! Flames have suddenly burst from the speakers. How dreadful.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would like to date Sai. But, I don't know. I don't think there's a good spot in the plot to do that. Even after you get done with her palace, like, I don't know, there's not a good reason for you to interact with her. I don't know. I guess it would be kind of fun. You do technically have a social link with her, but obviously it's like all story driven. It would have been nice. I think there is technically one rank that you just skip with Sai. If like you just went to rank 9 at when she rescues you or around then, and then rank 10 you get to hang out with her and stuff. I think that would have been good. Swap the sisters around now. I don't think swapping the sisters around would make much sense. It sounds like a fan AU kind of thing. But yeah. I don't know. I think they could have worked it out so that you could have a couple of hangouts with Sai. But you aged Makoto to Sai, yeah. Again, it sounds like a fanficky kind of thing. But anyway, I think... Yeah, I think having... Ooh... I don't know. Does Persona 5 not have enough older women for you to date, Depot? I guess there isn't one in a suit like Sai, huh?
That was 180% you're doing.
Ooh, 80%.
Such repeated meddling. It seems I have a bit of a score to settle with the host, too. Well then, I will be going now. Please be careful. Oh, wait. There is a rule in this tournament against the loser of a fight moving on. Is there? Well, considering that I entered myself into the tournament, I do not think you count as a defeated contestant. That is only conjecture, though.
Yeah, okay.
You entered yourself.
Yeah, because
dating
dating your pseudo sister is like totally weird. But dating your teacher is totally fine. There's nothing weird with that. No, there's nothing weird about dating your teacher.
Huh, details.
I smile cheerfully and return and leave the area. Sorry, I wasn't listening to what... Okay. Truly, that was one of my better smiles.
I cannot believe that even Elizabeth's-san came to this world. That's it! Her name was Elizabeth-san. I finally remember.
Well, she did say it earlier. Well, good that you remembered it, finally. Eventually, I reached the room known as the announcement room. When I approached the door, I sensed power from within. It seems the real host is here and not on some monitor. I haven't encountered that Persona user known as Sensei yet, but thinking about it, I would expect him to win his matches until reaching here. It may be easier to wait than to search aimlessly for him. Upon closer inspection, the door is slightly open. There are people inside.
I sense 2. No, 3 people.
I cautiously sneak up to the door and take a peek inside.
What a shame. You gave it a try.
Yosuke?
But there's no way anyone would understand you.
Huh? That is that teddy bear imposter. The student council president is here too. It seems the false teddy bear's tone is much harsher than before. Has he been meeting with difficulties lately?
When I look again at what's going on inside in the room, a sinister aura swirls around General Teddy. A surprising transformation occurs. His silhouette reforms into a shapeless lump. It resolves into the figure of the student council president girl.
I am a shadow. The true self.
Goodness, that false teddy bear was actually the girl's shadow. I see. It's true that suffering to this degree could cause a shadow to go berserk and affect its surroundings.
The girl's true appearance has already been exposed. It seems she was finally able to face her original nature. Surprisingly, the enemy forcing the illusion upon her was her other self. I'm glad that she awakened to her true self, but this is a shocking and drastic turn of events.
At least one of them has to understand how I feel. Isn't that what you
We haven't seen who's in here, though. She said 3 people. Petty... No, sorry. The Shadow. Rise... Labris. There should be one other person, though. Because I don't think she would have counted the Shadow as a person.
That's not true.
You want the everyday boys and girls to experience what you had to go through. You want to see close friends fight for their lives against
I'm just
each other.
imagining, like,
Because if they do that,
Elizabeth leaning over and, like, peeking through the door. And being all, like, silly.
you want to make them understand.
That ain't true.
It's alright, though. You don't have to worry
Like,
about
over-exaggerating
it
emotions or
anymore.
whatever.
I'll take care of everything from here. I'll destroy anyone who doesn't understand you and comes to get in your way.
Maybe she
Just
counted the
like
Shadow as a
you
person.
once did.
I don't think she did, though.
That's all a lie.
Yeah, did he fall in half asleep? The shadow has gone berserk. At this point, it can no longer be stopped solely by the original person. Worse, the shadow has no more reason to keep its host alive. This continues, but a third person storms onto the scene just as I'm about to intervene.
Labrys!
It's the young man in a school uniform. For a moment, I am utterly captivated. What powerful fire he has in his eyes. On a second look, I recognize his face from the video. As I recall, his name was Kingpin Yu. No, that's not right. Sister Complex Yu. No, that sounds even further from his actual name. Narukami. That's right, it's Yu Narukami.
I won't let you hurt her anymore. If you're gonna keep rampaging, I'll fight you.
Fine! Then you'll be the first to die!
Maybe he was drunk and fell in. The shadow's attack hurtles towards the young man, but he does not flinch and takes a fighting stance after smoothly evading it. Seeing his high determination, I detect a distinct presence about him.
That young man is a persona user too.
Ah, and that's not all. The sensation is similar to when I encountered Aegis.
Could his powers be?
There's no doubt about it. It's the same as hers. He too is a persona user whose awakened talent is that of the wild card. Shadow launches its next attack at the young man. That's interesting too, that Elizabeth is calling that out. I thought that Aegis kind of lost that power after the events of the answer, but it seems like Aegis is saying that Aegis still has that power within her to some extent. Which means that she should technically be able to swap personas still. Maybe she would need to work again to reawaken that power? Or she would need assistance from a Velvet Room attendant to help draw that power out. That could have explained why. Like, Yu doesn't use different personas in this game, and Aegis doesn't use different personas in their spin-offs. It's because they need the assistance of a Velvet Room attendant to be able to make full use of their abilities. Like, they would probably still be able to call out their evolved personas or whatever, like with Yu Narukami being able to call it, like, Izanagi no Okami by himself, but, like, he would have to work with a ruler of power, be able to wield different forms of power again. That could be. That's a satisfying explanation for me, at least for right now. The shadow launches its next attack at the young man. The battle axe it brandishes is a cluster of steel as long as she is tall. If he can truly wield those powers, he may be able to stop such an attack. That's not a sure thing.
This opportunity cannot be missed.
This time I enter the room and step between the two.
What? Pardon me as I interrupt this scene.
Who are you?
You! How? I set up walls so you couldn't pass through. How did you get here?
So you couldn't pass through? What is it referring to? Oh, could it mean those invisible walls I bumped into from time to time? I suppose. Thinking back, I did run afoul of such things along the way. But a little push was all it took to pass through them, so I barely paid them any heed.
Such parlor tricks can get stuffed.
The shadow and the young man both looked quite perplexed. Was what I said so shocking? I took the opportunity to step towards the young man and look him straight in the face.
Ah, are you perhaps the sensei that Teddy Bear spoke of? Someone who has awakened to the power of the wild card through Velvet Room's guidance.
What? Wait, that blue outfit. Who are you?
I flashed him a smile and turned my gaze towards the girls collapsed nearby. I believe he called her Labrys a moment ago.
I see. I feel that I have a good grasp on the situation now.
Then can't you tell you're in the way? Get out of here!
I love how angry Shadow Labrys is. Like, come on, we were doing something here.
I cannot do that. I came to settle some business I had with you, the tournament's host.
What business?
To be blunt. What business was it?
Get a little bit of...
How should I know?
I love how mad Shadow Labrys is. It's so good.
That was harsh.
It turns out that I do not care about such trifling details after all. My apologies. Please forget my mention of business. Actually, my search for a certain individual has unexpectedly concluded, so we're done here.
Who said we're done? That's it! I'll kill you where you stand!
I wouldn't recommend it. If I may be so boastful, it would be a battle you stand no chance of winning.
What?
My words must have been so humiliating that the shadow's face flushes red and it gropes for words. I ignore it in order to speak to the young man.
It's nice meeting you, by the way. I am Elizabeth. Would it ring a bell if I mentioned that I am the one who governs power?
You mean like Margaret?
Oh, do you know my older sister? I see, no wonder.
Stop ignoring me, bitch!
I shield the young man behind me and turn towards the shadow.
Please wait a moment. I must ask the one over there to leave this place before we resume.
It's you who's going to leave!
I was sure that I gave the proper warnings earlier. So it goes. Your fate is in the cards.
It is interesting, by the way, to note the fact that Theodore is canonical with like P1 and P2. He shows up in those games as well. Or sorry, not P1 and P2. Persona Q and Persona Q2. I should have been more specific. I got I was too vague on that one. But yeah, Theodore is in those games as well. So it does, and obviously MC is also there. So I do wonder if there's sort of a multiverse thing going on with that, or timeline thing going on with that. Not clear. Yeah, maybe it'll go a bit into that when I get to Persona Q and Q2. The other thing I'm looking forward to when it comes to Velvet Room attendants with Persona Q and Q2 is that you get to fight against all the Velvet Room attendants. There's fights in both Persona Q and Q2 where you get to fight against all of them at once. Or not at once, but in like phases. So even with like Persona, like the twins as well in Persona Q 2. So you get to fight Elizabeth, Theodore, and Margaret in Persona Q, all in like one multi-phase boss fight. And then Persona Q2, you get to fight them plus the twins. So I don't remember if Leven's is in that game or not. I guess we'll find out at some point.
How could it end like this?
They look like pretty cool fights too. I'll definitely have to do them on stream when we get around to it.
It's all completely ruined.
The shadow falls to its knees, its will completely drained. I doubt it has the strength left to attack us.
This is me?
The girl, still unable to stand, stares blankly at her own shadow. I turn around towards the young man. This P1 Grand Prix was most likely caused by this girl's shadow manifesting her suppressed anguish. But this young man tried to reach out to her, even at the risk of his own safety. And even after seeing proof that she was the one who caused that risk.
Excuse me, but may I leave the rest of this to you? I'm ashamed to say so, but delicate persuasion is not my forte.
I understand. I agree that you don't seem like you'd be too good at
it. The young man walks towards Labrys, who is still at a loss for words. I have yet to have a proper conversation with him, but I sense a certain trustworthiness in his strong steps.
Miss President, or actually Labrys.
What am I supposed to do? What difference does it make if I accept this? In the end, no one's gonna understand me anyway. right?
It's ironic that Yu is probably going to speak more here and more directly to Labrys than he did in his own storyline.
It's true that others won't be able to easily understand your pain. But are you gonna give up after just one try at showing them? One victory or loss doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't give up. That's what I think.
I shouldn't give up?
No, you can do this. You're not alone anymore.
Labrys' eyes widen, as if just realizing the brightness of the scenery before her. The young man waits patiently for his words to sink in. After some time, Labrys finally stands up and looks towards me.
Hey, is this what you were talking about before?
I am also not human, but who you are is for you to decide. That is the power of potential that everyone holds. Even for a machine, I believe that still holds true.
You could have just said so when we first met.
Alas, I have always had some difficulty making myself understood.
Come on now, you should go to her.
Labrys faces her shadow once more at the urging of the young man. Shall we watch this scene one more time then?
I'm sorry I ignored you all this time. I was the one who left you all alone.
Feels a little out of place since we skipped all of Elizabeth's other cutscenes. Like, the game kind of describes them happening, but like doesn't show them actually happening.
After all.
With the transformation of Shadow Teddy into Shadow Labrys, and then the also the intro Grand One or the P1 Grand Prix kind of video that she sees but like isn't shown.
This is my persona.
Congratulations!
Yeah, you did well.
Thanks.
There's no need to thank us. It was all you.
Seeing Labrys smile, I can't help but grin as well. But her relief only lasts for a moment before the strength drains from her body and she stumbles.
Labrys!
The young man hastily catches her.
There's no need to worry. She must have reached the limits of her stamina.
He props the unconscious Labrys down against a wall.
The strength that binds hearts together. No matter how many times I witness it, its beauty never fades. May I borrow some of your time?
The young man looks over his shoulder in surprise, but when our gazes cross, he turns, as if understanding.
Are you a resident of the Velvet Room too?
Well, in a way. I have abandoned my duties at the moment in order to see through a desire of mine.
What did you want with me?
I calm myself before opening my mouth once more.
In order for my wish to be granted, I require a power much greater than what I have. But it is most likely not.
I think this is one of my
power
favorite
used to
songs
fight.
in this game.
It is something else. I wish to
This theme that's
understand
playing in
what
the
that
background
is.
right now.
The power of the wild card that changes bonds into strength. I have a feeling that the key lies there.
I don't really understand.
Put more bluntly, I wish for you to show me your potential.
The young man considers everything I said, but eventually sighs before responding.
I get it now.
You don't mind?
Would you back down if I said no? After what you said before, I don't think you'd back off that easy.
Touché.
I take a slightly defensive stance.
There is no need to be lenient. I invite you to approach this battle as if you intend to kill me.
I didn't think I could win any other way.
Thank you. Well then, here goes. Your fate is in the cards.
I like how you was just taking this all in stride, like, oh, right, she's definitely Margaret's sister. I've done this once before.
Final.
Persona! Opening my deck. My attack. You're frozen. My attack. My attack. You're frozen. This one will be time. My attack. My attack. Opening my deck.
Guys.
Liz is so broken. Holy cow, Liz is broken. Oh, it feels nice to play with her. I really wish the AI was better, though. I really do. I really, really wish the AI was better so I would be able to get better with the characters. But man, we have not lost since, like, I started doing the, I think pretty much, like, yeah, since I started doing the, like, epilogue, or, like, the actual endings, I haven't lost once. I lost 10 times total throughout the entirety of Arena. And ever since I've been doing, like, finishing up the story stuff, I haven't lost once. Yeah. I really wish that there was, like, higher, harder settings for the AI that they would place upon them.
So strong.
As you get further in the game.
I see. You do indeed have great power.
Hey, Jetpeg. How's it going? Even while saying so, I'm conflicted, and my expression clouds. It's true that he was strong. He expertly wields the power of the wild card. But thinking about it, that isn't what I wanted to learn. The power of the wild card doesn't just stem from one's skill in a fight. His strength comes from his knowledge that he cannot avoid fighting to gain his desire. That strength appears to manifest his power in battle. But what I want to learn has little to do with combat. Will I ever get closer to the root of this matter with this method? But even if I find that I can't, I don't see another way. I have measured all types of strength, great and small, as one who governs power. I suddenly feel anxious.
Could it be that it's something I cannot understand?
Will I never be able to understand, as one distant from the workings of human society? Has it been impossible from the start for my wish to be fulfilled? I then noticed the sounds of footsteps.
Hey, are you okay? Oh shit, dude, what happened to you?
Yukon, are you alright? Senpai, hang in there!
It seems that the shadow who had created the place has vanquished. The rules keeping everyone trapped were nullified. These must be the friends he formed bonds with. But...
Yo! Did you do this? What did you do to Senpai?
one of them turns his fierce eyes on me.
You're so mean, miss! This is going too far!
Who are you anyway? You better explain yourself!
If you did this with malign intent, we won't let you leave here so easily.
Their anger at seeing their friend hurt. That was a new experience for me. Their bond gave birth to anger, grew into animosity, and that fury is now directed at me. But the young man stands up.
One more time.
He requests this even though he's badly wounded. A rematch would only have one possible outcome.
What?
Please, that is enough. I've already witnessed your strength.
If this ends with my defeat, it doesn't count as me showing you my potential.
But...
You shouldn't jump to conclusions. I thought I said this once today. What's important is that you don't give up after one try. You have to hang in there. My friends that I haven't seen in a while are all here. I can't just wave the white flag.
Yeah, you, Murakami. Once again, the moment the young man makes his declaration, a mysterious presence fills the area. Izanagi no Akami. The presence surges with power and creates a whirlpool of light around him. Within that light, the young man's determination and drive instantly rekindle.
What is that power?
Is it the wild card he holds? I then notice the young man's friends are standing behind him in all support, all of them fixing their gazes on me as I stand perplexed. The bond they share and their very core is echoed in their eyes. I suddenly feel as I've been confronting a fearsome giant.
I cannot believe I am seeing this.
I find myself starting to back off. My footsteps are unsteady as I go. A small dip in the floor behind me, no longer than a fingernail, throws me off balance. Suddenly, I'm about to fall. But then unseen arms catch me.
Are you alright?
You're...
In contrast to my utter bewilderment, she wears a calm smile. When I turn back to the young man, this surge of power has already dissipated. I catch myself sighing in relief. Even when I review my long memory, I can recall no occasion on which I had felt so overwhelmed before.
What was that just now? Do you happen to know what this power is?
I do not know the specifics, but
Igus also turns her gaze towards you and his friends.
that must be the power of their bonds. The power that stems from not being alone. I don't know why, but I feel like I understand when I'm watching them.
The power of not being alone.
It's a power they all share? Isn't it just his? Did their bonds, strong bonds, turn to his determination not to lose into an instant recovery for him? I'm suddenly reminded of a conversation I once had with my sister. If something is impossible for them to accomplish alone, they will work together. His friends have even worked miracles at times. Those were the words I spoke to her.
What's important is that you don't give up.
It's a cliche to hear, but its wisdom is profound. I dismissed his potential judging by my standards. I almost gave up in the same way, thinking that I would be unable to understand. But he refused to allow that. His power proves there is not only one standard. It is truly the strength found in numbers.
So this is a bond.
When I think about the guests I met who had formed bonds, I may have focused too much on those individuals. I never took much interest in who they bonded with, or how those bonds were forged.
What I should be studying isn't just him, but all of them together. Not the strength of a person, but of people. That may be the lesson. It seems I am starting to find hope.
I nodded in satisfaction.
Today's festivities made for quite a wonderful Grand Prix. Considering that there have been some games, I should be going, if you'll all excuse me.
I turned to make my exit.
Huh? Wait a sec, you haven't explained yourself yet! You haven't even told us your name! It's Elizabeth!
Hey! Back here! What are you all happy for?
Who was she? Well, the odds are low that she was the mastermind behind this case.
Enough about her! Senpai's more important. We'll get you out of here in no time, so hang in there, Senpai. Teddy, get a stretcher ready.
Huh?
What are you standing around for? Move!
Guys, I'm not exactly critically injured, you know?
I think it's wonderful.
You're...
Seeing you surrounded by friends reminds me of a certain someone.
Who could she possibly mean? Who could she possibly mean?
A certain someone?
There is no need to worry, everyone. His wounds are not serious. He is merely exhausted.
Oh, thank goodness. Wait, who are you?
I could have left by a shorter route, but I returned to the school's front gate and looked back at the school. The faces of the people I parted with a moment ago are called to mind. Amongst them is that young man's face. I only faced him briefly, yet I recall him with surprising vividness.
I'm sure that he will continue to increase his strength of heart. It is a given with so many friends. I am a little bit envious.
I turn the pages of the compendium and draw a magic circle in the air.
Well then, farewell.
I soundlessly pass through it and leave as if melting into the scenery. I close my eyes and my thoughts drift to the past.
Elizabeth? Elizabeth, are you listening? You seem lost in thought like that frequently of late. Could this mean that you finally began to be troubled over things, like a normal person?
How scathing of you, as usual.
Believe me, sister, I am not as bad as you. What's the matter?
My dear sister, I want to tell you a fairy tale.
What's this about?
In our world, at the far reaches of the Sea of the Soul, there stands a large door. A soul which devoted itself to sealing that door slumbers there.
Why did it do such a thing?
That soul is risking itself to prevent those who have lost sight of life's brilliance from luring the world to self-destruction. It has become the guardian of the door, of the whole world, in fact.
That is a very sorrowful story.
My dear sister, do you think I can save that person?
I thought it was a fairy tale.
It may be impossible alone, but what if I joined forces to do it? This person's friends are capable of miracles at times.
This person you speak of, is it... I hope you're not planning to...
Oh, don't be silly, my dear sister. I told you, it was only a fairy tale.
To a certain degree, all of your stories are like fairy tales. I don't know what's troubling you, but be sure that you don't neglect your duties.
When I open my eyes again, I am in the Sea of the Soul. A world where countless bright starlights shine like a nebula.
Velvet, oh velvet.
I begin singing a song. Now that I'm here again, I feel a hint of loneliness. I smile inwardly at myself. What happened today was very fruitful for me, though it came with a certain realization. I still don't have any in the world outside the Velvet Room that I wish to form a bond with. My lack for a hunger of such things may have prevented me from understanding.
No, that's not quite right either.
Lack of hunger? That's not it. In truth, it was within my power, but I was turning my gaze away from it. After all, I didn't begin this journey only to find the means to defeat that monster. I thought by defeating it, I could see him again.
To think I was unconsciously afraid of something and keeping my distance from it. That is quite a surprise.
The mechanical girl, the young man today, and my old guests all had their own desires unresolved from the start. I should make myself just as resolved as I am to achieve my desire as well. I will face it unblinkingly and accept it. I will admit that the loneliness in me arose from leaving my old residence. The sick feeling of loneliness will surely torment me and cause me grief forever. But if I harden my resolve to allow for embracing that pain, I'm certain that my yearning heart shall gain great power. Bonds. The other half of being alive, along with death. Just as death gives life its shine, I'm sure loneliness will shed new light on the question of bonds. That is when I will obtain the power of bonds in the truest sense. Certainly I will not achieve that miracle alone.
Though I cannot defeat that monster now, I may in time gain the power to truly erase it.
He must have felt that hunger as well. That is why he tried to protect his bonds with his life, leading him into the universe. I smiled to myself again. As one who leads others, I have only now gained enlightenment about the true meaning of bonds. And at that moment, a single car drifts down before my eyes.
Oh!
Here, hovering before me like a butterfly fluttering its wings. It's the card of the Fool. It bursts into pearls of light on my hand.
To think the day would come where I would behold my own arcana and not that of a visitor's.
The Fool. It represents freedom, purity, possibility, and
the beginning of a journey. It may be that my journey has finally truly begun. The Fool, Well, I am aware that I still do foolish things.
I give a wry smile and look up. My gaze is fixed on what lies ahead. Its enormous door that looms like a small mountain in the center of the void.
Please wait for me. One day I shall surely see my wish come true.
I briskly turn on my heel away from the door. My walk begins.
Velvet, oh velvet.
My bright song will no longer have mournful undertones.
My master has a large nose.
I have yet to determine a sure path. There's no assurance that my wish will come true. And whether I will truly make some sort of connection with those I encountered today isn't certain either. But I have hope now. And that is what lets me go on. This time, I can head towards the future I desire without losing my way. Okay. And that's, I guess, the end of Arena. Huh. That was really good. I really hope they don't let this, like, plot thread drop. I really want to see this, like, overarching idea of Elizabeth creating bonds and having her own journey throughout the side games and stuff come to fruition eventually. With her like, doesn't that sound so good too? Like, as a side game, if the, like, protagonists of 4, 5, and 6 somehow come together in a side game alongside Elizabeth to finally fulfill her wish and bring back the MC of Persona 3. Doesn't that sound so good? It sounds so good, especially if they keep building up to it. It worries me that she didn't show up too much in the spin-off Persona 5 games, because if they wanted to continue this idea or this arc, it feels like they would have brought her back during those side games, because P5 has so many of them. From what I know, the only time that Elizabeth and Joker have ever directly interacted is in Persona Q2. So that does worry me. I don't know. I really, really hope that, like, this overarching idea or overarching story of Elizabeth going on her own journey and becoming a more well-rounded person and gathering allies and friends to help her eventually, like, fulfill her wish. I hope that gets paid off. I really, really hope it does. Who knows? Hey, next Tuesday we'll start on this, and maybe it'll continue in this too once we get to Ultimax. Not today, but next Tuesday. Yeah. Well, that was really good. That was really good. The story of Persona 4 Arena is a lot better than I thought it would be. It's a lot more interesting. There's a lot going on with it. I think the way it's told is a little iffy. There's a lot of text that doesn't need to be there. And, like, because of the nature of it being told throughout multiple perspectives, there's a lot of overlap with what happens in the stories. But, overall, great. Really great. Really liked it. I think Labras' story is really good. I think that, like, some of the questions raised and, like, things said, like, with all the different characters, like, facing aspects of themselves that they haven't fully worked through or whatever, is good. I think the connections people made to Labras were interesting. Like, with Teddy, you know, not being human, same with Elizabeth. With Yosuke losing somebody close to him as well. You know, I think, like, the connection she had with, like, some of the characters was really good. Some of them weren't, like, as, you know, they didn't have as clear of a connection there. Like, people like Kanji, Chie, Akihiko didn't really have as close of a connection there as to Labras as some of the others. But they all were interesting to play through and to get to see more of these characters. I think there's too much internal monologuing and text going on between fights, but I think the story overall is pretty interesting and pretty good. So I'm interested to see how Ultimax's story goes, because I know that Ultimax's story is also supposed to be pretty good, and it also brings back the main antagonist of Persona 4, obviously. So I hope they do it well. I hope it's good. I'm looking forward to it, so I guess we'll see next Tuesday. Yeah. But yeah, very good story. Like I said, I really hope that that overarching story of Elizabeth, like, trying to save the P3 MC gets continued on in future games. I don't know if we'll see too much of that in Persona 4 Arena. It seems Persona 4 Arena is more focused on resolving who the mastermind was behind Persona 4, or sorry, Ultimax's story. I think Ultimax is going to be more focused on resolving, like, introducing who the main antagonist was for P4 Arena, who set up Labras and threw her into the TV and everything. So I think it's going to lean more on that side, as well as bringing in the rest of the P3 cast that wasn't in Arena, and giving them shadow forms and everything, and, like, having them face everybody face their shadow selves again, or for the first time, it seems like, from what I can tell. So that should also be very interesting, I think. We'll see with the P4 characters. I do wonder how much ground there is to dig there with the P4 characters again, because all of them besides you has faced his shadow self before. So I don't know how much ground there is to dig there, how much there is to mine there, really, from a narrative perspective. Because if I remember correctly, yeah, everybody here, like all the P4 people, had the main antagonist appear to them, or at least main antagonist or the shadow Labrys appear to them as their shadow selves and kind of taunt them, and they kind of like did that whole thing in this story as well. So I don't know how much more they can mine this well, but like at least with the P3 characters, it's like completely untapped ground, and it'll be interesting to see how they characterize Yu's shadow self as well. So that should be good. Also, there's like new main antagonist as well, a redhead guy. Don't know how he comes into the plot, but that'll be interesting. So yeah, that should be good. I will hopefully see you guys next Tuesday for that. We are finally done with Adventures of Cliffhanger. I will have to retire that meme, but yeah. Next Saturday, so in a couple days here, we're gonna be back to Yakuza 0. I think we're finishing Yakuza 0 this weekend, so that should be good. Then next weekend we start on the P3 Reload DLC, so that'll be fun. Yeah. I'm gonna try and get out a video about a cheap way to play Persona 3 Reload, hopefully before the DLC comes out next Tuesday. I really gotta start working on that a bit more. I have all the footage I need, I think. I just need to start editing it down, which is always the hard part. So, I don't know. Like I was talking about at the start of this stream, I've been working on that list thing, because that's been kind of hanging over my head. But now that that's almost done, I'll probably get that done tonight in it, so then I won't have that hanging over my head and I can work on the video some more. Anyway, hopefully we'll see you guys later this weekend. If not, I hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for hanging out, JPEG, Jeppo, anybody lurking or watching back on the VOD. Nash, I hope it's not 105 degrees there still. But, in case I don't see you guys, hope you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See ya!